Force rippled, and Luke Skywalker fell through the fabric of reality. One moment, he'd been reaching out through hyperspace, searching for ancient Jedi knowledge. The next, the familiar currents twisted wrong. Blue-white energy tore open around him like a wound in space itself. Not hyperspace, not the Force as he knew it, something else entirely. He fell. The city below was wrong. Massive towers of glass and steel stretched toward a sky filled with stars he didn't recognize. Neon lights blazed in colors too bright, too artificial. Vehicles moved along streets far below without repulsor lifts, bound to the ground. The Force itself felt different here, present, but muted somehow, as if filtered through layers of something he couldn't name. Luke twisted mid-fall, calling on the Force. It responded sluggishly, fighting through whatever strangeness saturated this place. He slowed his descent, boots touching down on smooth black pavement in a controlled crouch. His hand moved to his belt instinctively. The lightsaber's familiar weight reassured him. Around him, people screamed. Dozens of them scattered back from where he'd landed, their faces illuminated by the glow of small rectangular devices they held toward him. Not comlinks, something else. Cameras, he realized, but unlike any he'd seen. Every person seemed to carry one, all pointed at him, recording. Holy shit! A young man stumbled backward, his device, phone, shaking in his hands. Did you see that? He just fell from the fucking sky. Is this a Vought stunt? A woman in business attire craned her neck upward. Where's the wires? Luke straightened slowly, scanning the crowd. They wore strange clothes, spoke basic with an accent he didn't recognize, and radiated confusion rather than threat through the Force. Above them, massive screens covered the sides of buildings, displaying moving images and words. Vought Inti, or National, the Seven. Heroes you can trust. Heroes? The dimensional rift sealed behind him with a sound like tearing fabric. Luke spun, reaching out with the Force, but found nothing. No pathway back. No signature of whoever or whatever had pulled him through. He was alone, in a place that felt like a city on Coruscant, but wasn't. With people who looked human, but whose technology and culture were utterly foreign. A metallic groan drew his attention upward. Debris from the rift, twisted chunks of something that might have been building material, hung suspended in the air above the crowd. 3 pieces, each the size of a speeder bike, beginning to fall. Luke's hand shot up. The Force answered, and the debris froze mid-descent. The crowd gasped as one. He guided the chunks down gently, setting them on the pavement away from the civilians. Sweat beaded on his forehead from the effort. The Force was harder to grasp here, like swimming through thick liquid. When the last piece touched down, he released his hold and stumbled slightly. That's not CGI. The businesswoman's voice shook. That's real. What the hell is he? Someone else whispered. Luke turned toward them, raising his hands in a peaceful gesture. I mean no harm. I'm lost. Can someone tell me where? Sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. Red and blue lights reflected off the glass towers. An older man in the crowd pointed at Luke's belt. Is that a weapon? Luke's hand moved to his lightsaber. I can defend myself if needed, but I won't. He's got a weapon! The shout rippled through the gathering. Some people pressed closer with their cameras. Others fled. The phones captured everything, dozens of angles, broadcasting who knew where. A massive electronic billboard flickered to life above them, showing a figure in a blue suit with a cape and an eagle emblem. The face was unnaturally perfect, the smile too practiced. Homelander. Courage, strength, safety. Scrolled beneath the image. Luke stared at the billboard, reaching out through the Force. Even from this distance, even through a recording, he sensed something deeply wrong about that man. A hollowness, a hunger, darkness wearing a hero's face. Where am I? Luke asked quietly, though he knew no one would hear him over the sirens. The crowd parted as a blur of motion streaked past, too fast to see clearly. It circled Luke 3 times before skidding to a stop. A man in a blue and red suit covered in lightning bolt designs, grinning confidently. "Yo!" The speedster pointed at Luke. "Who the fuck are you supposed to be? Some kind of knockoff Jedi? That shtick's been done, bro." Luke blinked. "I am a Jedi." The man laughed. "Right, and I'm actually fast." He blurred again, appearing behind Luke. "You got a license for those powers, or are you just another wannabe trying to go viral?" "License?" Luke turned to face him. "I don't understand." "Oh, this is going to be good." The speedster pulled out his own camera phone, flipping it to face himself and Luke. "A train here with some rando who thinks he's—" Luke's danger sense screamed a warning. He moved without thinking, force pulling 3 civilians away from the speedster as the man's show-off circuit created a vortex of wind that would have thrown them into traffic. The people landed safely in Luke's arms. He set them down gently. "Are you all right?" They nodded, stunned. Luke turned back to the speedster, A-Train, his expression hardening. "You could have hurt them." A-Train shrugged. "Relax, man. They would have been fine." He blurred forward. "But let's see if you're fine." The punch came at superhuman speed. Luke wasn't there when it arrived. He sidestepped, the force showing him where the strike would land before it happened. A-Train overextended, stumbled, came around for another attempt. Luke evaded again and again, each time his hand drifted closer to his lightsaber. "Stop," Luke said. "I don't want a fig. But you." "Then stand still." A-Train's frustration bled into his voice. Police vehicles screeched to a halt at the intersection's edges, forming a perimeter. Officers emerged with weapons drawn, projectile weapons, Luke noted, not blasters, all aimed at him. "Drop the weapon," an officer shouted through some kind of amplification device. "Hands where we can see them." Luke raised his hands slowly, carefully. "I haven't done anything wrong." "Drop the weapon." The lightsaber hung from his belt. Luke reached for it slowly, his other hand still raised. An officer's finger tightened on his trigger. Luke felt the intent through the force, fear, uncertainty, adrenaline. He unclipped the lightsaber and held it out to his side. Before the officer could take it, the weapon floated from Luke's hand, hovering in the air between them. The crowd's phones captured it all. Somewhere, algorithms were already pushing the footage viral. Tat mystery. Hero began trending. Vought's PR team received their first alerts, and in a tower miles away, a man with dead eyes and a perfect smile turned toward a screen, watching a Jedi Knight hold his lightsaber aloft through nothing but will. Homelander's smile widened. Behind Luke, a figure materialized from the shadows without a sound. Black tactical armor, weapons bristling, face hidden behind a mask. The silent approach of a trained killer. Luke spun, the force screaming its warning. His lightsaber flew to his hand. Black Noir gestured once, simple, direct. "Come with us." "I mean no harm," Luke repeated, but his thumb hovered over the activation stud. "I'm just trying to understand where I am." Noir tilted his head, pointed at the police, then at Luke, then toward a line of black SUVs rolling up behind the police cordon. The message was clear: come peacefully, or don't come peacefully. Either way, you're coming. Luke looked at the crowd, terrified, recording, waiting. At the police with their projectile weapons, at A-Train smirking, at Noir's perfect stillness, at the massive screens above showing that hollow-eyed man's face. Through the force, he felt the wrongness of this place settle over him like a shroud. He'd faced the Empire, defeated Vader, redeemed his father, rebuilt the Jedi Order. But standing in this street of impossible glass and blinding light, surrounded by cameras and false heroes, Luke Skywalker realized he might have fallen into something darker than the Empire ever was. A place where heroism wore a corporate logo and came with a license. The lightsaber stayed unignited. For now. The elevator climbed. Luke counted 80 floors, then stopped counting. The city spread below him through glass walls, vast and gleaming and wrong. Noir stood silent beside him, weapons visible but not drawn. A threat that didn't need to speak. The doors opened onto corporate sterility. White walls, chrome fixtures, Screens everywhere displaying metrics Luke couldn't interpret. A woman in a burgundy suit rushed toward them, tablet clutched like a shield, her smile stretched too wide. "Mr. Skywalker," her voice pitched high with artificial enthusiasm. "I'm Ashley Barrett, Senior Vice President of Hero Management. Welcome to Vought Tower. Can I get you anything? Water? Coffee? We have an excellent—" "Where am I?" Luke interrupted gently. "What city is this?" Ashley blinked. "New York. You're in New York City." She glanced at her tablet. "Our systems show you appeared in Times Square approximately 47 minutes ago. The footage has already reached 53 millions. Alien views across all platforms. That's actually incredible engagement for an unscheduled event." "Footage?" "The phones." She gestured vaguely. "Everyone records everything now. Your arrival, the debris catch, the confrontation with A-Train. It's all trending. #2 worldwide, actually. You're only behind a Homelander rescue from this morning." Her smile flickered. "Which is good. Great even. Shows there's market interest." Luke studied her through the Force. Fear radiated from her like heat. Not fear of him, fear of something else. Someone else. The terror of a person balanced on a knife's edge, knowing one wrong move meant the fall. "I don't understand half of what you're saying," he admitted. Of course. Ashley tapped her tablet frantically. "Let's start simple. Name, power set, current representation. Do you have an agent, manager, anyone we should contact?" "My name is Luke Skywalker. I'm a Jedi Knight and I'm trying to find a way home." The tablet lowered. "A Jedi Knight? Like from Star Wars? I don't know what that is." Ashley's laugh came out strangled. "Right, okay. Committing to the bit. I respect that." She led him down a corridor lined with posters, perfect faces, perfect bodies, corporate slogans beneath each. Maeve, strength, dignity, grace, the deep, protecting our oceans. A-Train, fastest man alive. All of them felt hollow through the Force. The conference room sprawled across the corner of the building, floor-to-ceiling windows on two sides. A long table dominated the space. Ashley gestured to a chair. Luke sat, noting the cameras in the corners, the microphones hidden in the ceiling fixtures, the observation glass along one wall that wasn't quite a mirror. He was being watched, studied, assessed. "So," Ashley perched on the edge of her chair, tablet balanced on her knees. "Walk me through your power set." What we saw was impressive. With telekinesis, right? Enhanced reflexes? The glowing sword is a nice touch, very marketable. Did you design that yourself, or— The door opened. Luke felt him before he saw him. A presence in the Force like a black hole, immense power wrapped around absolute emptiness, darkness that had forgotten it was once light. Homelander entered with a smile that never reached his eyes. He wore the suit from the billboards, blue with red accents, cape billowing slightly despite the lack of wind, an eagle emblazoned across his chest. Handsome in an artificial way, like someone had designed him to test well with focus groups. He radiated confidence, charm, control, and beneath it all, nothing. A void where a person should be. "So, you're the new guy." Homelander's voice was smooth, practiced. He extended a hand. "Homelander, leader of the Seven. Nice entrance back there." Luke stood, shook the offered hand. The grip was carefully calibrated, strong enough to impress, not strong enough to threaten. Luke met his eyes and saw something flicker there. Surprise, maybe. Or calculation. Most people looked away from Homelander's gaze. Luke didn't. "Thank you," Luke said carefully, "though I didn't intend to make an entrance at all." Right. The whole fell from the sky thing." Homelander circled the table, casual, assessing. "Creative. Ashley, has he signed the NDA yet?" "We were just getting to introductions. Because we should probably talk about representation before this goes any further." Homelander leaned against the window, backlit by the city. "You've got heat right now. Real heat. But heat fades fast if you don't capitalize on it. Vought can help with that. I'm not looking for help with... Luke gestured vaguely at Ashley's tablet. Whatever you're measuring. I need to understand how I got here and how to get back. Back where? Home. My galaxy. Homelander's smile widened. Your galaxy. Okay, still in character. I can appreciate commitment. His eyes began to glow faintly red, then dimmed. You know what's interesting. I can see through most things. Walls, bodies, lead. Well, not lead, but pretty much everything else. And you, he tilted his head. You're not like other soups. No compound V signature. Your cellular structure is different, almost like you're actually from somewhere else. Luke's hand drifted toward his lightsaber. Easy. Homelander raised his hands in mock surrender. Just curious. We don't get a lot of genuine mysteries in this business. Usually it's all PR stunts and desperate wannabes. He pushed off from the window, approaching Luke with predatory grace. So, let's say I believe you. You're from another galaxy. You're a Jedi Knight. You have powers nobody gave you. That's all very interesting. But here's the thing. Powers without oversight are dangerous. I've been using these abilities for years without... Not here, you haven't. The charm drained from Homelander's voice. Here, we have rules, laws. Vought International manages 97% of all superhero activity in this country. We ensure public safety, maintain brand integrity, coordinate emergency response. You want to use powers on American soil? You work with us. Ashley cleared her throat nervously. What Homelander means is that we'd love to offer you a position. The contract is very competitive. I don't want a contract. Luke stood. I want information. How did I get here? Is there anyone who studies dimensional rifts or... Dimensional rifts? Homelander laughed, sharp and humorless. Sure. We'll get our top scientists right on that. He moved between Luke and the door. But while you're stuck here, you're going to need to play by the rules. Because the alternative is that you're an unregistered superhuman using powers in public without authorization. That's a federal crime. A crime to help people? A crime to act without a license, yes. Luke stared at him. The Force showed him. Flashes. Bodies, blood, lies. A smile for cameras while cities burned. This man wasn't a hero. Wasn't even a soldier. He was something worse. A weapon that believed its own propaganda. I'm a Jedi, Luke said quietly. I don't need permission to help people. The temperature in the room dropped. Homelander's eyes blazed red for just a moment before he controlled it. His smile returned, wider than before, showing too many teeth. Everyone thinks they're special, Homelander said. Everyone thinks the rules don't apply to them. Right up until they learn otherwise. He leaned in close, voice dropping to a whisper. I've been doing this a long time, Luke Skywalker. I've seen 1,000 guys like you come and go. You know what happens to the ones who don't play ball? Luke felt the threat hanging in the air like a blade. They disappear, Homelander finished. He straightened, smile returning to its corporate setting. But hey, I'm sure you're smarter than that. Ashley will send you the contract details. Standard 7-year term, image rights, merchandising, the works. Sleep on it. We'll talk in the morning. He headed for the door, paused. Oh, and Luke, that lightsaber is a nice prop, but if you ever ignite it near me without permission, I'll shove it so far up your ass you'll taste plasma, just so we're clear. The door closed. Ashley exhaled shakily. Luke stood in the conference room, 80 floors above a city that shouldn't exist, in a world that had turned heroism into a product, facing a man who wore goodness like a mask while rotting from within. Through the window, he could see the streets below, millions of people going about their lives, protected by corporate heroes who served shareholders instead of justice. The Force pulsed around him, trying to show him something, a warning, a path, a choice that hadn't yet been made. His communicator, retrofitted unfamiliar technology, buzzed in his pocket. A message from an unknown number. You looked like you could use a friend. Meet me at coordinates attached. Come alone. Someone who knows what home. Lander really is. Luke looked at Black Noir, still standing silent in the corner. Then at the message. Then at the city spread below like a web of light and shadow. This was going to get worse before it got better. The coordinates led to a pawn shop in Brooklyn. Luke had walked. Force leaping across rooftops would draw too much attention, and he'd already caused enough commotion for one day. The streets pulsed with a different energy than Coruscant. Dirtier, more desperate. Advertisements for Vought plastered on every surface. Black Noir had followed him from the tower. Luke sensed the silent assassin 3 blocks back, maintaining distance. Either Vought wanted to see where he'd go, or they were confident they could retrieve him whenever they wanted. Probably both. The pawn shop's door chimed as Luke entered. Dusty shelves crammed with electronics, jewelry, weapons. Behind the counter, a broad-shouldered man with dark skin looked up from a tablet, his expression flat. "We're closed," the man said. "I received coordinates." Luke showed him the message on the unfamiliar device Ashley had insisted he carry. Someone wanted to meet. The man studied Luke for a long moment, then jerked his head toward a back door. "Downstairs. Touch anything that ain't yours, and I'll break your fingers, Jedi or not." The basement stretched wider than the shop above, exposed brick walls, flickering fluorescent lights, a table covered in files and photographs. 3 people turned as Luke descended the stairs. A tall man with a dark coat and wild eyes stepped forward first. British accent, sharp grin. "Well, fuck me. He actually came." He extended a hand. "Billy Butcher, and you're the bloke who told Homelander to shove his contract up his arse." Luke shook his hand warily. "I didn't phrase it quite that way." "No, but you were thinking it, I can tell." Butcher gestured to the others. "That's Marvin. You met him upstairs. Frenchie there with the facial hair is our weapons expert. And the young lad looking like he's about to piss himself is Huey." Huey raised a hand in a small wave. "Hi, sorry, it's just, you're actually from space? Like, actual space?" "A different galaxy," Luke corrected. He scanned the room through the Force. Wariness, anger, grief buried deep. But no deception. "Why did you contact me?" Butcher grabbed a remote, clicked it. A screen flickered to life on the wall, showing footage. Luke watched himself arrive in Times Square, the dimensional rift, the debris catch. The view shifted, a train circling him, police arriving, Noir's appearance. "You made quite the splash," Butcher said. 53 million views in under an hour. Vought's PR team is probably shitting themselves trying to figure out how to spin you." "Spin me?" "Control the narrative. Make you into something they can sell." Butcher clicked again. The screen showed different footage now. Homelander rescuing people from a burning building, except the video was spliced wrong. Luke's Force-enhanced perception caught the edits, the staged timing, the camera's positioned before the fire even started. "That's from 2 months ago," Huey said quietly. "Vought started the fire. Homelander knew exactly when to show up because he was told when to show up. 17 people died waiting for him to make his entrance." Luke's stomach turned. "Why?" "Ratings." MM's voice carried barely controlled rage. "Homelander's numbers were down. A successful rescue boosts merchandise sales, streaming subscriptions, public approval. So Vought gives him opportunities to be heroic. Even if it means letting people die?" Luke's hand moved to his lightsaber unconsciously. "Especially if it means letting people die," Butcher said. "See, a real emergency is unpredictable, dangerous. But a controlled emergency? That's content, that's marketing, that's money." He leaned forward. "Your galaxy got corporations, Luke. The Trade Federation, some merchant guilds. Now imagine those corporations own every hero. Imagine they manufacture heroes in labs, dose them with a drug called Compound Phi, and package them like action figures. Imagine they control the laws, the media, the courts. That's Vought. That's your new reality." Frenchie pushed a folder across the table. Luke opened it. Photographs spilled out. Crime scenes, bodies, cover-ups. A young woman with her chest caved in. A headline, Tragic accident. A report buried beneath it showing superpowered assault. Her name was Robin, Huey's voice cracked. She was my girlfriend. A train ran through her, literally. Turned her into... He swallowed hard. Vought paid me off, made me sign an NDA, told me it was an accident, but it wasn't. He was high on Compound 5, racing another soup, and she was just in the way. Luke closed the folder, his mind reeling. The authorities are in Vaught's pocket, finished. FBI, CIA, Congress, Vought owns them all. You can't fight them through the system because they are the system. Then how do you fight them? Butcher's grin turned sharp. Carefully, illegally, and with extreme fucking prejudice. He clicked the remote again. More footage, the 7 at galas, press conferences, charity events. All smiles and perfect faces and hollow eyes. You felt it, didn't you, when you met Homelander? Something wrong under all that American flag bullshit. Luke nodded slowly. The Force showed me emptiness, hunger, darkness pretending to be light. Your Force got good instincts. Butcher poured himself a drink from a bottle on the table. Homelander's a psychopath. We've got evidence he's killed hundreds of people, covered up by Vought, blamed on others, or just disappeared entirely. He's the most dangerous thing on this planet, and the whole world worships him. Why are you telling me this? Luke asked. Because you're not from here. You don't owe Vought shit. And because... Butcher met his eyes. You actually wanted to help those people in Times Square. Didn't pose for cameras, didn't check your approval ratings, just moved. That's real. That's not something we see much anymore. Huey stepped forward. Butcher thinks you could help us. Take down Vought. Expose them. Stop them from... Whoa, hold on. Raised a hand. We don't know this guy. For all we know, Vought sent him. Could be a setup. He told Homelander no, Huey countered. In Vought Tower, to his face. Nobody does that. Nobody survives doing that, corrected. Which means either he's legitimately powerful enough that Homelander's scared, or Vaught's playing a longer game. Luke looked at each of them. Butcher's barely contained rage, Huey's desperate hope, MM's protective suspicion, Frenchie's curious assessment. All of them scarred by this world in different ways. I don't know if I can help you, Luke said honestly. I don't understand this place. Your technology, your culture, your television and streaming and social media, all of it's foreign to me. But, Butcher prompted, but I know evil when I see it. I've fought it before. Luke thought of the Emperor, of Vader, of the Empire's cold efficiency. And what you're describing, turning heroism into profit, letting people die for our ratings, covering up murder, that's evil. Just wearing a different uniform. An alarm blared from MM's tablet. He grabbed it, face darkening. Shit, we've got a situation downtown. Multiple soups responding to what looks like a terrorist attack, but the timing's wrong. Social media chatter suggests it was scheduled. Scheduled? Luke moved to look at the screen. Another Vought production. Butcher's jaw tightened. They're getting bolder. Used to wait weeks between staged events. Now it's every few days. On screen, news footage showed smoke rising from Grand Central Station, people running, screaming, and descending from the sky like gods. The 7, Homelander in the lead, cape billowing, smile perfect. The anchor's voice trembled with practiced emotion. Heroes arriving on scene now, Homelander leading the response as always. We're hearing reports of a super-powered terrorist inside the station, hundreds of civilians trapped. Luke watched Homelander land, saw him scan the crowd, position himself for the best camera angle before moving toward danger. A child stumbled into frame, separated from her parents, crying. Homelander walked past her. The cameras followed him instead. Luke was moving before he'd made a conscious decision. Up the stairs, through the pawn shop, into the street. Wait, Huey called after him. You can't just... They'll use it against you. Luke turned back. People are dying. They're dying anyway, shouted. Vought designed it that way. You save them. You're just giving Homelander something to compete against. Then he can compete. Luke's hand found his lightsaber. I didn't become a Jedi to calculate political outcomes. I became a Jedi to help people. Butcher laughed, sharp, surprised. Huey, get the cameras ready. Start the van. Frenchie, grab your kit. He looked at Luke with something almost like respect. If you're gonna crash Vaught's party, might as well document it properly. You're helping me? Fuck no. We're using you. Butcher's grin turned feral. But maybe you're using us too. Either way, let's go ruin Homelander's big moment. Luke nodded once, then Force jumped to the nearest rooftop. Behind him, he heard Huey's awed whisper, "Holy shit, he really is a Jedi." Luke landed on Grand Central's roof 3 minutes before the Seven arrived. Smoke billowed from shattered skylights. Through the Force, he felt the terror below. Hundreds of people trapped, confused, some injured. And something else, a presence radiating pain and desperation, not malice. He dropped through a skylight, Force cushioning his fall. Glass crunched under his boots. The main concourse had been transformed into chaos. A figure hovered near the information booth. Young man, maybe 25, eyes glowing with unstable energy. Debris orbited him like satellites, chunks of marble and steel ripped from the station's architecture. Telekinetic, powerful but unfocused, like someone who'd just discovered abilities they couldn't control. "Stay back," the man's voice cracked. "I didn't mean... I can't stop it." People cowered behind pillars and benches. Luke saw the child from the news feed, huddled with an elderly woman, both sobbing. A section of ceiling groaned, beginning to collapse. Luke extended his hand. The debris froze mid-fall, suspended by the Forcey, as he guided it down slowly, away from civilians. The telekinetic spun toward him. "Who are you?" "Someone who can help." Luke moved forward carefully, hands visible, non-threatening. Through the Force, he sensed the truth. This wasn't a terrorist. This was a victim. Fresh injection site on his arm, Compound V forced into his system. Vought had manufactured this emergency. "What's your name?" "Marcus. They grabbed me off the street, shot me up with something. Then I started..." His concentration wavered. More debris began falling. Luke caught it all, the Force straining under the effort. Sweat beaded on his forehead. "Marcus, listen to me. You can control this. Feel the energy inside you. Don't fight it. Guide it." "I can't." "You can." Luke extended his hand further. "Reach out. Feel what I'm doing. The energy is the same. Yours is just newer, rougher, but you can shape it." For a moment, their powers aligned. Marcus's wild telekinesis following the calm currents of the Force. The orbiting debris slowed, began to lower. Then cameras flashed. News crews had pushed into the station, drawn by the spectacle. The intrusion shattered Marcus's fragile focus. "Get away!" Energy exploded outward. Luke threw up a Force barrier, protecting the civilians behind him. The blast hit him instead, throwing him backward into a marble column. Cracks spiderwebbed through the stone. Luke stood, wiping blood from his lip. "Marcus, ignore them. Focus on..." Thunder echoed through the station. No, not thunder. The sound of a god landing. Homelander touched down in the center of the concourse, cape settling perfectly around him. The cameras immediately shifted to him, light reflecting off his polished suit. He smiled for the lenses before acknowledging the crisis. "Citizens of New York, the Seven are here. You're safe now." His voice projected confidence, heroism, control, pure performance. Behind him, the rest of the Seven filtered in. Starlight, Queen Maeve, the Deep, all positioning themselves for optimal camera coverage. Homelander's eyes found Luke, and his smile sharpened. "Well, well, the mystery man. I thought we agreed you'd stay out of superhero business until we sorted out your situation. People needed help." Luke gestured to Marcus. "And this isn't what it looks like. He was drugged, forced to..." "He's a terrorist." Homelander cut him off smoothly. "We've been tracking his cell for weeks. Finally made his move today." He turned to the cameras. "Gonna be honest with you folks. This is why we have regulations. Proper heroes, proper training, not vigilantes who don't understand the threats we face. Marcus's energy flared again, panicked. I'm not a terrorist. They grabbed me. That's what they all say. Homelander's eyes began to glow red. Luke moved without thinking, placing himself between Homelander and Marcus. Don't. The word hung in the air. Cameras captured everything. Luke's defensive stance, lightsaber in hand, though not ignited. Homelander's eyes blazing crimson. Excuse me? Homelander's voice dropped to something dangerous. He's scared and confused, not evil. If you'd take 30 seconds to actually help him instead of posing for cameras. I am helping, Homelander gestured broadly. By neutralizing the threat before more people get hurt. That's what heroes do. We make hard choices, something you'd understand if you had any actual training. I've made hard choices, Luke. His voice stayed level. I've fought in wars, faced darkness you can't imagine, and I learned that real heroism isn't about looking good on camera. It's about seeing people, really seeing them, and choosing to help even when it's difficult. Starlight, standing to the side, went very still. Something in her expression shifted. Homelander's smile disappeared entirely. You're really starting to piss me off. Then I'm doing something right. The Seven's leader moved faster than Luke expected, not as fast as A-Train, but fast. His hand shot toward Luke's chest, intending to shove him aside or worse. Luke caught his wrist. The force flowed through him, grounding him, giving him strength beyond his physical frame. Homelander's eyes widened slightly, genuine surprise breaking through his cultivated image. They stood locked, hand to wrist, strength against strength. Around them, debris trembled. The cameras ate it up. You're strong, Homelander admitted. His other hand came up, gripping Luke's shoulder, pressure building. But I'm stronger. Strength isn't about power. Luke met his eyes steadily. It's about what you do with it. Behind them, Marcus screamed. His control finally shattered completely. The entire ceiling began to collapse, tons of marble and steel and glass falling toward everyone in the station. Homelander didn't move. His eyes flicked upward, calculated. Let it fall. Let people die. Blame it on the terrorist and the vigilante who interfered. Cleaner that way. Luke felt the decision through the force. He released Homelander and threw both hands upward. The force answered like a tidal wave. Every piece of debris froze. Luke held it all. The ceiling, the walls, Marcus's wild telekinesis, suspended through sheer will. His nose bled freely now, vision tunneled. The force was harder to grasp here, sluggish, fighting through whatever wrongness saturated this dimension. But he held. Get them out, he gasped. For a moment, no one moved. Then Starlight broke ranks. She grabbed the nearest civilian, started guiding them toward the exits. Move! Everyone out! Now! Queen Maeve hesitated, then followed. The Deep, too. Even A-Train grabbed someone, though he posed for cameras while doing it. Homelander stood alone in the center of the concourse, watching Luke strain under impossible weight. You can't hold that forever, he observed. Don't have to. Luke's jaw clenched. Just long enough. They won't remember you for this. I'll make sure of it. I don't do this to be remembered. Something flickered in Homelander's expression. Not respect. He was incapable of that. But recognition. Of something he'd lost, or never had. Something that made Luke more dangerous than raw power ever could. Belief. The last civilian cleared the doorway. Marcus stumbled after them, his abilities finally exhausted, Starlight supporting him. Luke lowered the debris slowly, carefully, guiding tons of material to the ground with precision that took every ounce of concentration he had left. When it settled, he collapsed to one knee. Homelander loomed over him. Touching. Really? But you just proved my point. He addressed the cameras directly. See what happens when untrained individuals try to play hero? He almost got everyone killed. Luke looked up, breathing hard. I saved them. You were going to let them die. Prove it. The cameras kept rolling. Vought's editors were already cutting footage, crafting narrative, shaping truth into whatever story served them best. But some footage couldn't be edited. People had phones, live streams, multiple angles showing Homelander's calculation, Luke's sacrifice, Starlight's choice to help. The truth was out there, fragmented, incomplete, but out there. Homelander extended a hand, offering to help Luke up. For the cameras. Always for the cameras. Luke ignored it. He stood on his own, legs shaking but steady. This isn't over, Homelander said quietly, smile returning for the media. You're in my world now. And in my world, I win. We'll see. Homelander flew through the broken skylight, cape billowing heroically. The rest of the seven followed. Cameras tracked their departure, gods returning to Olympus. Luke stood alone in the ruined station, surrounded by debris he'd prevented from becoming graves. Outside, Butcher's van screeched up. Huey jumped out, phone still recording. That was insane. Did you see? Luke, you're bleeding. I'm fine. Luke wiped his nose, looking at the blood on his hand. Using the force this much in this dimension was taking its toll. The young man, Marcus, where did they take him? Vought custody, said grimly, emerging from the van. They'll disappear him. Make up a story. No one will ever know the truth. Luke's hand found his lightsaber. Then we'll have to make sure they do. The footage hit the internet like a bomb. Luke sat in the boys' basement hideout, watching himself on a dozen screens. Multiple angles, multiple perspectives, all captured by civilians with phones. The moment he'd caught the ceiling, the moment Homelander had calculated letting it fall, the moment Starlight had broken formation to actually help. 70 million views in 2 hours, Huey said, scrolling through his laptop. And climbing. Our real hero is trending worldwide, so is What Would Luke Do? He looked up. You're bigger than Homelander right now. That won't last. Pulled up another screen. Vought's official response. A polished press conference, Ashley at the podium, carefully scripted damage control. Watch. On screen, Ashley's smile was plastic perfection. Today's incident at Grand Central Station demonstrates exactly why proper hero training and oversight are essential. While we appreciate the mysterious individual's intentions, his interference nearly caused a catastrophic collapse. Fortunately, Homelander and the Seven were on scene to contain the situation and prevent casualties. They're lying, Luke said flatly. Course they are. Butcher leaned back in his chair. But they've got the resources to make lies sound like truth. Professional PR teams, media connections, deepfake technology. Give them 48 hours and half the country will believe Homelander saved the day while you fucked it up. Frenchie pulled up a split screen, Luke holding the ceiling on one side, Vought's edited version on the other. In their cut, Luke appeared barely visible while Homelander stood heroic in the foreground. Magnifique manipulation, no? They even added cape flutter for dramatic effect. Luke's hands clenched. In the Republic, we had propaganda. The Empire perfected it. But this, he gestured at the screens. This is something else. They're not just controlling information. They're manufacturing reality. Welcome to 2024, mate. Butcher poured whiskey into a glass, slid it toward Luke. Where truth is, whatever has the best marketing budget. Luke ignored the drink. The people who were there know what happened. They saw. Yeah. And Vought's legal team is probably getting them to sign NDAs right now, offering money, threatening lawsuits, whatever works. Pulled up another tab. Already seeing social media accounts getting suspended for posting the raw footage. Vought's claiming copyright infringement. They can't suppress everything. They don't have to suppress everything. Just enough. Huey's voice carried tired resignation. Most people will believe whatever story is easiest. Homelander's the hero they know. You're the unknown variable. Unknowns are scary. Luke stood, pacing the narrow space between workstations. The force churned around him. Frustration, anger, the dark side whispering that he could end this easily. Force choke every executive in that tower, tear down their propaganda machine, make them tell the truth. He'd felt this before in the Emperor's throne room, power offering simple solutions to complex problems. There has to be a way to reach people, he said, to show them the truth without Vought's filter. There might be. Everyone turned to look at MM. He pulled up an encrypted messaging app. I've got contacts, journalists who aren't on Vought's payroll, politicians who've tried to regulate them and failed, activists who've been fighting this fight for years. They've been looking for something solid enough to break through the noise. And I'm solid enough? You're from another galaxy. Butcher's grin was sharp. Can't get much more solid than that. Plus you've got powers that aren't from Compound Phi, which means Vought can't claim ownership. You're the first genuinely independent Super Neo he's seen in decades. A knock at the door froze everyone. MM's hand moved to a weapon. Frenchie grabbed something that looked like a modified taser. Butcher gestured for silence. Huey checked the security camera, his eyes widening. Guys, it's Starlight. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Fuck. Butcher stood. She followed you? I would have sensed. Luke stopped. He had sensed something, a presence trailing him but not hostile. He'd dismissed it as Vought's surveillance. She's alone? Yeah, but she's still one of them. MM's finger rested on his weapon's trigger. Could be a setup. Or she could be making a choice. Luke moved toward the stairs. I'll talk to her. Bad idea, Butcher called after him. Trusting soups is how people get killed. I don't sense deception from her. Luke climbed the stairs. Just conflict. He found Starlight in the pawn shop, hood pulled up, sunglasses hiding her face despite the late hour. She jumped when he appeared, then relaxed slightly. You came. Her voice was quieter than he expected, younger. I wasn't sure you would. You helped people today, Luke said simply, when the others didn't. That meant something. I've been wanting to help people for a long time. She pulled off the sunglasses, and Luke saw exhaustion in her eyes. But Vought, they make it impossible. Everything's about image, ratings, market share. I joined the Seven to be a hero, and instead I became a product. Luke gestured to a pair of chairs near the window. They sat, and for a moment, neither spoke. My name is Annie, she said finally. Annie January. Starlight is just the brand they gave me. Luke Skywalker. Jedi is what I chose to be. She almost smiled. Yeah, I gathered that. The whole I don't need permission to help people thing was kind of a giveaway. The smile faded. Homelander's planning something. I don't know what, but he's been different since you showed up. More focused, more dangerous. He sees me as a threat. You are a threat to everything Vought's built. Annie leaned forward. You showed people what heroism looks like without corporate sponsorship, without focus groups and PR strategies, just someone with power choosing to help. That's terrifying to them. Good. No, not good. Her voice urgent now. You don't understand what they're capable of. Homelanders killed people who threatened Vought's interests. Lots of people. And they've covered it all up. Made it disappear. You keep pushing like this. They won't just try to control you. They'll try to destroy you. Let them try. That's not... Annie stopped, studying him. You really believe you can win, don't you? Against all of this. The money, the power, the corruption. I've seen empires fall. Luke met her eyes. They always think they're invincible, right up until they're not. The Empire. You mentioned that before. In your galaxy. They controlled everything. Military, government, information. They hunted Jedi to extinction, ruled through fear and brutality. But they fell anyway. Because people chose to resist. Because a few individuals decided that freedom mattered more than survival. Annie was quiet for a long moment. I want to help. Really help. Not just save people when Vought allows it, but actually fight back. Expose them. End this. She looked at him. But I'm scared. Everything I've worked for, my reputation, my career. If I go against them, I lose it all. Yes, Luke said gently. You probably will. That's not very reassuring. I'm not trying to reassure you. I'm trying to be honest. He paused. In the Jedi Order, we had a saying, fear is the path to the dark side. But fear itself isn't evil, it's human. What matters is whether you let it control you. And if I do, if I'm too scared to risk everything, and you make that choice and I won't judge you for it. Luke stood. But if you decide to help, we'll stand with you. All of us. Below in the basement, an alert blared. Butcher's voice carried up the stairs. Luke, we've got a problem. Marcus, the telekinetic from Grand Central, he's dead. Vaught's saying he killed himself in custody. But the autopsy photos just leaked, and that's not a suicide. That's an execution. Luke's hand found his lightsaber. Annie stood too, her expression hardening. They murdered him, to cover up what they did. And they'll call it a suicide, and everyone will believe them because they always do. Not this time. Luke headed for the stairs. Not if we have something they can't suppress. What? He looked back. The truth. On record. From someone they can't silence. Annie's jaw set. She pulled out her phone, opened the camera app, hit record. My name is Annie January. I'm Starlight of the Seven, and I'm done lying for Vought International. Annie spoke for 17 minutes straight. She detailed everything. The compound Vive injections Vought gave to babies, the staged rescues, the cover-ups, the murders passed off as accidents, Marcus's forced injection and subsequent execution, Homelander's kills that disappeared from public record, the way Vought manufactured heroes like products and discarded them when sales dropped. Luke stood behind her, just out of frame, watching her hands shake as she held the phone steady. She'd chosen this, knowing what it would cost. When she finished, the basement was silent except for her ragged breathing. That's it, she whispered. That's everything I know. Huey took the phone, began uploading the video through encrypted channels, routing it through a dozen proxy servers. Once this goes live, there's no taking it back. I know. Annie pulled off her Starlight uniform's cape, let it fall to the floor. I'm done being their puppet. The video hit the internet at 11:47 p.m. By midnight, it had 15 million views. By 12:30 a.m., Vogue, HT's emergency response team, was in full crisis mode. Luke watched the chaos unfold across MM's monitors. Every major news outlet picking up the story, social media exploding. #Starlith Truth trending #1 worldwide. Vaught's official response, a terse investigating these baseless allegations, drowned beneath the tide of Annie's confession. They're scrambling. Butcher's grin was vicious. Beautiful. Fucking beautiful. They'll come for her, MM warned. And they'll come hard. Let them. Annie's voice was steady now, fear burned away by commitment. I'm not hiding anymore. Luke's danger sense flared a split second before MM's security system did. We have company. The monitors showed 3 black SUVs pulling up outside, figures emerging, tactical gear, weapons moving with military precision, not police. Vaught's private security. Basement exit, MM ordered, grabbing equipment. Now! They moved fast. Frenchie led them through a concealed door into tunnels that connected to the subway system, old infrastructure, unmapped, perfect for disappearing. Behind them, the pawn shop's door exploded inward. Keep moving, Luke urged, bringing up the rear. Through the force, he sensed the pursuers, 12 of them, coordinated, professional, and something else, something flying above the city, hunting, Homelander. They emerged 3 blocks away in an abandoned parking garage. Butcher's backup van waited, engine running. Get in, Butcher barked. Luke hesitated. He's coming. I can feel him. Then we drive faster. Gunned the engine as everyone piled in. They made it 2 blocks before Homelander landed in front of them. The van screeched to a halt. Through the windshield, Luke watched Homelander's cape settle around him, watched his smile spread wide and empty. His eyes glowed faintly red, barely controlled rage beneath the heroic facade. "Everyone out," Homelander's voice carried easily through the van's walls. "Now, or I peel this vehicle open like a sardine can." "Fuck." Butcher's hands tightened on the wheel. Luke opened the door, stepped out. "Let them go. Your problem is with me." "Oh, my problem is with all of you." Homelander's eyes swept across the group as they emerged, lingered on Annie. "But especially you, Starlight. After everything Vought gave you, this is how you repay us? You gave me nothing but lies." Annie stood straighter. "And I'm done spreading them for you. You ungrateful little—" Homelander caught himself, smile snapping back into place. Cameras, always aware of cameras. Phones were already out on surrounding buildings recording this confrontation. "You're confused, traumatized by today's events. That's understandable. Why don't you come back to the tower, and we'll get you the help you need?" "I don't need help. I need to stop you." Something in Homelander's expression flickered, the mask cracking. "You need to stop me? I'm the hero here. I save people. I protect this city. What do you do besides cry about how hard it is and lecture everyone about morality?" "I tell the truth. Your truth is worthless." The red glow intensified. "You're C-list talent with delusions of importance. You always were. The only reason you made the 7 was because you tested well with Christian demographics. You're a product." Luke stepped between them. "That's enough." Homelander's attention sent, apt to him. "And you, the magical space wizard who thinks he can waltz into my world and change the rules." He moved closer, invading Luke's space. "You have no idea who you're fucking with." "I know exactly what you are." Luke met his eyes steadily. "A weapon that forgot it was supposed to protect people. Power without purpose. Strength without morality. I have plenty of morality. I just understand that sometimes people need to die for the greater good. The greater good. Or Vought's bottom line." Homelander's smile vanished completely. Around them, air pressure shifted, power radiating off him in waves, barely leashed. "You want to know what I am? I'm a god walking among insects. I could kill everyone on this street in 30 seconds. I could level this city before anyone could stop me. The only reason I don't is because I choose not to. That's morality. That's restraint." "No." Luke's voice remained calm. "That's fear. You're terrified that if people stop worshiping you, you'll have to face what you really are. Empty, alone, the saddest person I've ever met." For a moment, Homelander just stared. Then he laughed, sharp, brittle, wrong. "You know what? I'm done playing nice. Done pretending you matter. You're an illegal alien, literally, with unauthorized powers operating on U.S. soil. I could snap your neck right now and be completely justified. You could try?" The challenge hung in the air. Homelander's eyes blazed crimson. Luke's hand moved to his lightsaber. Before either could move, sirens split the night. Police vehicles, fire trucks, news vans, all converging on their location. Someone had called in the confrontation. The cameras were everywhere now, streaming live, millions watching. Homelander glanced at the approaching media, calculated. His smile returned, hollow and perfect. "Saved by the press. How poetic." He pointed at Annie. "Enjoy your 15 minutes of rebellion. When the world realizes you're just another bitter failure looking for attention, you'll come crawling back. They always do." He launched skyward, cape billowing dramatically for the cameras. Annie exhaled shakily. "That went well?" "That went terrible," countered. "We just backed the most dangerous soup on the planet into a corner. In public. He's gonna—" His phone buzzed. Then Huey's, then Frenchie's. All at once a cascade of alerts. Huey looked at his screen, face paling. "Oh no. Oh shit." "What?" Butcher demanded. "Vought just released a statement. They're claiming Annie was dosed with compound V against her will, that she's experiencing psychotic delusions. They've got a doctor on record saying she needs immediate psychiatric intervention. Huey scrolled frantically. And they've released footage, deepfaked footage, showing her attacking civilians during her episode. Annie grabbed his phone, watched herself on screen doing things she'd never done. Hurting people, screaming incoherently. Perfect fabrication backed by Vought's unlimited resources. "They're destroying me," she whispered. "No." Luke's jaw set. "They're trying to. There's a difference." Pulled up more screens. "They're moving fast. Already got injunctions filed, restraining orders. They're freezing her accounts, revoking her hero license, painting her as a danger to herself and others." "Standard playbook," Butcher said grimly. "Discredit, delegitimize, destroy. We've seen it before. Then we fight back." Luke looked at Annie. "You told the truth. That matters. Even if they bury it with lies, even if people don't believe you yet. Truth has a way of surviving." "Pretty words." Annie's voice broke. "But I just lost everything. My career, my reputation, probably my freedom. And for what? So Vought can spin this as another crazy soup having a breakdown? Not if we give people something they can't spin." Huey's fingers flew across his keyboard. "Annie's confession is evidence. Marcus's autopsy photos are evidence. The raw footage from Grand Central is evidence. If we can get it all in front of the right people, who?" Annie laughed bitterly. "Who's going to stand up to Vought? They own everyone." A new message appeared on MM's screen. "Unknown sender. Single line of text. I'll stand up, get her somewhere safe. Press conference tomorrow, 10 a.m. Congresswoman Victoria Newman." Butcher's expression darkened. "No, absolutely fucking not. Newman's worse than Vought." "She's our only play," argued. "Federal protection, congressional investigation. She's a snake." Luke stepped forward. "What choice do we have?" The question hung unanswered as more sirens approached. Vought's damage control machine already spinning Annie's destruction, and somewhere above them, Homelander circled like a predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The Federal Bureau of Superhuman Affairs occupied a nondescript building in downtown Manhattan. Victoria Newman's office sat on the top floor, all glass and steel and American flags positioned for maximum patriotic impact. Luke didn't trust her. He'd felt it the moment they entered the building. Something wrong in the force, a darkness he couldn't quite identify. Newman herself radiated confidence and control, but beneath it, something else, something familiar in a way that made his skin crawl. "Thank you for coming." Newman shook Annie's hand, her smile warm and practiced. Mid-30s, sharp suit, the kind of person who'd learned to weaponize compassion. "What Vought did to you is unconscionable. This office exists to prevent exactly this kind of corporate overreach." "Can you actually do anything?" Annie asked. "Or is this just more political theater?" "I can launch an investigation, subpoena records, bring Vought executives before Congress." Newman gestured to chairs arranged before her desk. "But I need you to testify, publicly, on record. Give me ammunition to fight them with." Butcher leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "And what do you get out of this, Congresswoman?" "Justice, accountability, a chance to show the American people that no corporation is above the law." Newman's eyes met his. "Isn't that what you want too, Mr. Butcher?" "What I want is for Soups to stop fucking killing people. You'll forgive me if I don't trust politicians to make that happen." "Then trust the process. Trust the system." Luke spoke quietly. "The system is what allowed Vought to grow this powerful in the first place." Newman's attention shifted to him. "You're the Jedi, the one who fell from another galaxy." She studied him with unsettling intensity. "Must be quite an adjustment. Our world, our rules, our corruption." "I've seen corruption before. But not like ours, I'd imagine. We've perfected it, made it legal, profitable, sustainable. She smiled. That's what makes it so hard to fight. It's not good versus evil. It's competing interests with unlimited resources. Through the Force, Luke sensed her calculating something, measuring, assessing threat levels, the same way Palpatine had, once, long ago. His hand drifted toward his lightsaber. The press conference is set for 10 a.m., Newman continued. We'll make the announcement together. Annie's testimony, my office's investigation, federal protection for witnesses. Vought won't be able to touch her with congressional oversight. What about Luke? Huey asked. They're trying to deport him, or detain him, or both. We can work something out. Asylum, perhaps. Temporary protected status. The law is flexible when it needs to be. Newman pulled up documents on her tablet. I just need everyone to sign these disclosure agreements. Standard procedure. Reached for the tablet. Luke caught his wrist. Don't. Everyone turned. Luke's eyes stayed locked on Newman. You're one of them. A soup. The room went very still. Newman's smile didn't waver. I don't know what you're talking about. The Force doesn't lie. You have Compound V in your system. Just like Homelander. Just like all of them. Luke stood slowly. You're not investigating Vought. You're controlling the opposition. Making sure any real resistance gets channeled through you where you can manage it. That's quite an accusation. Newman set down her tablet. Based on what? Your mystical feelings? Based on the fact that everyone who's tried to seriously challenge Vought ends up dead or discredited, and you're the common thread. Luke's voice hardened. You're not here to help Annie. You're here to contain the damage she's caused. Butcher's hand moved to his weapon. Is he right? Newman stood. I think this meeting is over. You're clearly dealing with some paranoid delusions, Mr. Skywalker. Perhaps the dimensional travel affected your mental state. Show us, Annie said suddenly. Prove you're not a soup. Blood test. Right now. I don't have to prove anything to... The Force screamed its warning. Luke grabbed Annie and dove left as Newman's eyes went white. The air pressure shifted. Mm's head exploded. No, not exploded. Imploded. His skull collapsing inward, brain matter compressing, body crumpling like a crushed can. Huey screamed. Frenchie fired his weapon. The bullet stopped midair, hung suspended, then reversed course. Frenchie's chest erupted red. Luke threw up a force barrier, caught Butcher and Huey behind it. Annie blasted light at Newman, but the Congresswoman simply gestured. Annie's own power turned against her, slamming her into the wall. Impressive. Newman's voice stayed calm. You actually sensed it. Most people don't until it's too late. Her eyes blazed white again. But sensing doesn't mean surviving. Luke felt the attack coming. Invisible pressure targeting his brain, trying to pop blood vessels, collapse his skull from within. He channeled the Force, creating a shield around his mind, his body, but the effort was immense. Sweat poured down his face. What are you? He gasped. Insurance. Newman walked toward him casually. Vought created me, raised me, gave me power and purpose. Then they put me in Congress to make sure no one could threaten them from the inside. I've killed 17 people who got too close to the truth. You'll just be 18 through 21. She gestured. Huey started choking, invisible hands crushing his throat. Butcher's gun hand twisted backward, bones cracking. Annie struggled to rise, blood running from her ears. Luke's barrier was failing, the pressure building. He couldn't protect all of them and himself. Had to choose. He dropped his personal shield. The attack hit him like a hammer. Blood vessels burst in his eyes, his nose, his ears, but his hand stayed steady, force flowing outward, protecting the others. Interesting choice. Newman tilted her head. Sacrificing yourself for them. Very heroic. Very stupid. Luke's vision tunneled. The Force was slipping away, harder to grasp through the pain. He was dying, could feel it. Brain hemorrhaging, body shutting down. Then glass shattered. Homelander crashed through the window, cape billowing, eyes blazing. He grabbed Newman by the throat, lifted her off the ground. Did I say you could kill them? His voice was ice. Did I give you permission? Newman's power cut off instantly. She clawed at his hand, gasping. I was protecting Vought. By making martyrs? By giving them exactly the evidence they need? Homelander's grip tightened. You're supposed to be smart, Victoria. This is the opposite of smart. He threw her across the room. She hit the wall hard, slumped. Homelander turned to Luke, who knelt bleeding on the floor. Their eyes met. For a moment, something like respect flickered in Homelander's expression. You're tougher than you look, he admitted. Took everything she had and you're still conscious. Most people's heads would have popped by now. Luke forced words through bloodied lips. Frenchie. Dead. Obviously. Homelander crouched beside him. But you, Starlight, the British asshole and the kid are still breathing, because I'm allowing it. Remember that. Why? Because killing you now would make you a symbol. A martyr for the resistance. Can't have that. Homelander stood. But this little stunt? This proves my point. You can't fight Vought through the system. The system is Vought. Even the opposition is ours. Sirens wailed outside. Emergency response. News crews. Cameras. Homelander smiled. Here's what happens next. You're going to leave. Disappear. Take your friends and crawl back into whatever hole you came from. If you don't, he glanced at MM's body. I stopped being generous. Luke struggled to his feet. The force was there, barely, keeping him upright. I won't stop. You can't make me. I really can. Homelander's eyes glowed. But I'm giving you a chance. One chance. Because you interest me. Because you're the first person in years who's looked at me without fear or worship. He leaned closer. Don't waste it. He flew through the broken window, leaving Luke surrounded by death, failure, and the ruins of their plan. Annie crawled to Luke's side. We have to go. Now. Butcher grabbed Huey, who stared at MM's corpse in shock. Move, before Vought security locks this do. 1! They ran. Left MM and Frenchie's bodies. Left Newman unconscious. Left any hope of working within the system. In the elevator, racing toward ground floor, Luke felt the full weight of what had happened settle over him. 2 good people dead. Their one political ally revealed as an enemy. Vaught's control absolute. And Homelander had won without even fighting. They made it back to the basement hideout. Barely. Luke collapsed against the wall, sliding down until he sat on cold concrete. Blood still dripped from his nose, his ears. The force pulsed weakly around him, exhausted from holding off Newman's attack. Annie sat across from him, face buried in her hands, crying silently. Butcher poured whiskey with shaking hands, drank, poured again. Huey stood frozen in the center of the room, staring at nothing. MM had a daughter, he whispered. Janine. She's 8. What do I tell her? How do I... You don't. Butcher's voice was granite. You don't tell her shit. Because if Vought knows we're talking to MM's family, they'll kill them too. Everyone we know is a target now. They were good men. Luke's voice came out raw. They didn't deserve... No one deserves any of this. Annie looked up, eyes red. But it keeps happening anyway. Because Vought wins. They always win. Luke closed his eyes. Through the force, he could still feel the moment of MM's death. The sudden cessation of life. Frenchie's shock and pain in those final seconds. 2 more deaths he'd failed to prevent. Like Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru, all the people the Empire had killed while he'd been too weak, too slow, too late. The dark side whispered, you could have stopped her, could have crushed Newman's throat with the force before she attacked. But you hesitated. Your mercy killed them. I should have sensed it sooner, Luke said. Should have acted faster. You saved me and Huey. Annie's voice was gentle. Without you, we'd all be dead. 2 out of 4 isn't good enough. It's all we got. Butcher slammed his glass down. And sitting here having a pity party won't bring them back. We need to move. Vought knows this location now. They'll be coming. Let them come. Luke's hand found his lightsaber. The Force showed him a path. Simple, direct, dark. Force jump to Vought Tower. Cut through their security. Find every executive responsible. End them. I could finish this tonight. The room went quiet. What are you saying? Huey asked carefully. I'm saying I'm tired of playing by rules they ignore. Luke stood, the Force crackling around him. I've been holding back, trying to work within their systems, appeal to their better nature. But they don't have one. They're rotten all the way down. Luke, Annie started. Homelander was right. You can't fight Vought through the system because the system is Vought. So maybe it's time to stop fighting like a Jedi and start fighting like a Sith. Butcher's eyes gleamed. Now you're talking sense. No. Huey stepped between Luke and the door. No, this is exactly what they want. You going dark, becoming the villain they've been painting you as. It justifies everything they've done. I don't care about justification. Luke's voice dropped. I care about stopping them. Permanently. By becoming a killer? A murderer? Huey's voice shook, but held firm. Died trying to do this the right way. Frenchie died believing we could expose the truth and let people choose. If you go full Vader on Vought Tower, you're saying they died for nothing. The name hit Luke like a physical blow. Vader. The dark path. The same rage and grief that had consumed Anakin Skywalker. He looked at his hands, saw his father's mechanical fingers superimposed over his own. This is how it starts, he realized. Justify one kill, then another, then a tower full of them, until you're standing in a throne room, lightning at your fingertips, convinced you're doing good while drowning in darkness. Luke's voice broke. I can't just do nothing. Then do something smart. Butcher pulled up his tablet. We've still got MM's contacts, journalists, activists, people who've been fighting Vought for years. We can't trust politicians, but we can trust whistleblowers, people with nothing left to lose. They'll be killed too, Annie said quietly. Maybe, probably. Butcher's jaw set. But believed in this, believed that enough people telling the truth eventually drowns out the lies. I owe it to him to try. Luke sank back down, the murderous clarity fading, leaving only grief and exhaustion. I'm sorry. But you didn't. Huey sat beside him. That's what matters. You chose not to become what you hate. An alert beeped from Butcher's tablet. He checked it, face darkening. Fuck. What now? Annie asked. Vaught's press conference. Started 5 minutes ago. He turned the screen. Ashley stood at a podium, voice trembling with practiced emotion. Today, tragedy struck our federal offices. Congresswoman Victoria Newman was brutally attacked by the individual known as Luke Skywalker, assisted by known domestic terrorists Billy Butcher and Annie January. 2 brave federal agents, Marvin Milk and Serge, lost their lives protecting the Congresswoman. The screen showed footage, edited, manipulated, but convincing. Luke appearing to attack Newman, Huey and Butcher firing weapons, Annie's powers used offensively. They're heroes, Ashley continued, tears in her eyes. Marvin Milk and Serge gave their lives in service to their country, and we will honor them by bringing their killers to justice. Photos appeared behind her, and Frenchie, smiling, photoshopped into federal agent uniforms. Jesus Christ, Huey whispered. They're making them into the good guys, making us into the murderers. Of course they are. Butcher's voice was hollow. It's what they do. Take the truth and twist it until it serves them. The press conference continued. Newman herself appeared, bandaged, brave. I'm grateful to be alive, and I want the American people to know. We will not be intimidated by extremists. We will continue fighting for accountability, even against those who would use violence to stop us. Luke watched his own face on screen, Vaught's editing making him look monstrous. A threat, a killer, the very thing he'd almost become. His communicator buzzed. Unknown number. Message. They have Huey's aunt. Come to the warehouse at Pier 47 in 1 hour. Alone, or she dies. H. Huey grabbed the device, read it, went pale. Aunt Rachel, she raised me after my parents. He looked at Butt. Share. We have to. It's a trap, Butcher said flatly. I don't care. She's family. It's bait. Homelander wants Luke isolated, vulnerable. Luke stood. Then I'll give him what he wants. Are you insane? Annie blocked the stairs. After what almost happened? After you almost went dark? You can't face Homelander alone. I won't let another person die because of me. Luke's voice was calm now, centered. The Force flowing clearly again, showing him the path. This is what Jedi do. We walk into darkness so others don't have to. That's suicide, Butcher said. Maybe. Luke clipped his lightsaber to his belt. But Huey's aunt doesn't deserve to die for my choices. None of them did. He looked at each of them. Stay here. Stay safe. If I don't come back, we're coming with you, Huey said firmly. No. Yes. Annie stood beside Huey. We're not letting you martyr yourself. We're not losing anyone else today. Butcher drained his glass. Besides, someone needs to record this shit. If you're going down, we're making sure the world sees exactly how Vought did it. Luke wanted to argue, wanted to protect them, but he saw the determination in their eyes, the choice they'd made, the same choice he was making. 1 hour, he said quietly. Pier 47. We end this. Outside, night settled over New York. In Vought Tower, Homelander watched his monitors, watching them plan, watching them prepare. His smile was genuine this time. Finally, the Jedi was coming to him. The warehouse loomed against the night sky, skeletal and dark. Pier 47 had been abandoned for years, its windows broken, its walls tagged with graffiti, the perfect place for something terrible. Luke approached from the front, making no attempt at stealth. The Force showed him what waited inside. Homelander's presence like a supernova, Black Noir's silent void, and a third signature. Terrified. Human. Huey's aunt. Behind him, a block away, Butcher positioned cameras. Annie and Huey waited in the van, ready to move if needed. Luke's hand rested on his lightsaber as he pushed through the warehouse door. The space stretched massive and empty. Moonlight filtered through broken skylights, casting everything in silver and shadow. At the far end, a single chair sat beneath a spotlight. Huey's Aunt Rachel was bound to it, tape over her mouth, eyes wide with terror. Homelander stood beside her, hand resting almost gently on her shoulder. Right on time. His smile was relaxed, genuine. I appreciate punctuality. It's a dying virtue. Let her go. Luke stopped 30 feet away. Your problem is with me. My problem is with everyone who thinks they can challenge Vought. But yes, you especially. Homelander squeezed Rachel's shoulder. She whimpered. Here's how this works. You kneel. You admit on camera that you attacked Congress. Woman Newman. You leave New York and never come back. And I let this nice lady go home to her cats. And if I refuse, then I pop her head like a grape, hunt down every person you've ever spoken to and kill them slowly while you watch. The smile never wavered. Your choice, Jedi. Luke reached out through the Force. Rachel's fear was overwhelming, but beneath it, resolve. She knew she was bait, knew what this was, and there, barely visible in her bound hands, a small transmitter. She'd activated it. Police were coming. Homelander saw Luke's eyes flick to her hands. His expression darkened. Clever, but cops won't save her, won't save you. He glanced up at the skylights. Will they, Noir? The silent assassin dropped from the shadows above, landing between Luke and Homelander. Knives drawn, stance perfect. 2-on-1 seems unfair, Luke observed. Life's unfair. Homelander's eyes began to glow. Ask Marvin Milk. Oh wait, you can't. Because his head's in several pieces. The dark side whispered. Kill them. Both of them. You can do it. Reach out. Crush their throats. End this. Luke's hand moved to his lightsaber. I'll give you one chance to walk away. I'm giving you the same chance. Homelander's voice dropped to something dangerous. Kneel or die. Choose. Luke ignited his lightsaber. The green blade hummed to life, casting harsh light across the warehouse. I choose to fight. Black Noir moved first. Silent, fast, blades seeking vital points. Luke deflected with the lightsaber, the weapons meeting in showers of sparks. Noir's knives were some kind of advanced alloy. They didn't melt on contact. Luke force pushed. Noir flew backward, but twisted midair, landing on his feet. Throwing knives followed. Luke deflected them, sent two back. Noir dodged with inhuman grace. Then Homelander attacked. Heat vision lanced across the warehouse. Luke brought his lightsaber up, the blade catching the crimson beams. Energy met energy, crackling and hissing. The impact drove Luke back 3 steps. Impressive, Homelander admitted. But can you do that all day? He poured more power into the beams. Luke gritted his teeth, channeling the force through his blade, using it as a conduit. The warehouse filled with red and green light, 2 powers colliding. Noir used the distraction. He appeared behind Luke, blade driving for his kidney. Luke sensed him, spun, deflected. But Homelander's heat vision scored his shoulder. Pain blazed. Cloth burned. Luke was fighting 2 battles simultaneously. Noir's precision strikes, Homelander's overwhelming power. The Force showed him attacks before they landed, but barely. This dimension's wrongness made everything harder. Slower. He was losing. Homelander knew it. You're good. Better than I expected, but you're human. Limited. I'm a god. Luke force jumped, putting distance between himself and Noir. Gods bleed too. He reached out with the Force, grabbed shipping containers stacked against the walls. 20 tons of steel flew at Homelander. The containers hit like meteorites. Homelander emerged from the wreckage, suit dusty but unharmed. That all you got? Luke was breathing hard now. The Force reserves depleting. He'd been fighting since Times Square, barely recovered from Newman's attack, and now this. His body was failing. But Rachel was still alive. That mattered. Noir came again. Relentless. Luke deflected, but slower now. A blade got through, slicing his thigh. Another cut his arm, blood flowing freely. Homelander watched, amused. You know what's funny? You actually thought you could win. That righteousness and Force powers were enough. But this world doesn't care about morality. It cares about power. And I have more. He flew forward, grabbed Luke by the throat, lifted him off the ground. The lightsaber fell from Luke's grip, deactivated, clattered away. Any last words before I... Luke's eyes snapped open. Yes, now! The warehouse door exploded inward. Annie's blast of light hit Homie, a lander from behind, making him stumble. Huey fired a weapon, some kind of experimental pulse Frenchie had left behind. It caught Noir in the chest, sent him flying. Homelander dropped Luke, spun toward the new threats. You brought friends? How heroic! We don't leave people behind, Annie said, power crackling around her hands. Homelander's laugh was genuine. Oh, this is perfect. I get to kill all of you at once. His eyes blazed. Starting with her. The heat vision lanced toward Rachel. Luke saw it coming, saw that he couldn't reach her in time, saw the old woman's death written in the Force's currents. He made a choice. Every ounce of Force energy he had left went into one movement. He appeared in front of Rachel, hands extended. The heat vision hit him full force. Pain beyond anything he'd ever felt. The Force shield held for 1 second, 2, 3, his hands blistering, his skin burning, every nerve screaming. But Rachel was alive behind him. Homelander cut the beams. Luke collapsed, smoke rising from his charred hands and chest. He couldn't feel his fingers, couldn't feel much of anything. Through blurring vision, he saw Homelander approaching, saw Annie and Huey running toward him, saw Butcher's cameras capturing everything. "That was stupid," Homelander said, standing over him. "Noble, but stupid," Luke forced words through burned lips. "Better than being you." Homelander's face twisted, rage finally breaking through the perfect facade. His foot drew back, preparing to crush Luke's skull. Sirens wailed outside, dozens of them. Rachel's transmitter had worked. Police, SWAT, news crews, all converging on Pier 47. Homelander hesitated, calculated. His smile returned, hollow. Saved by bureaucracy. How mundane. He leaned down. "This isn't over, Jedi. Next time there won't be anyone to save you." He grabbed Black Noir, flew through the broken skylight. Annie reached Luke first, cradling his head. "Oh God, Luke, stay with me, stay." "Rachel," Luke whispered. "Is she safe? You saved her." Tears ran down Annie's face. "You saved her." Luke's eyes closed. The Force was there, barely, keeping him alive. But he'd given everything. Nothing left. As consciousness faded, he heard Huey's voice. "The cameras got it all. Everything. Homelander trying to kill a civilian. Luke taking the hit. The world's going to see." And Butcher's response? "Then let's make sure they can't bury it this time." Darkness took Luke. But for once, it wasn't the dark side calling. Just rest. Hard-earned. Desperately needed. Luke woke to the smell of Bacta. No, not Bacta. Something else. Antiseptic. Bandages. The steady beep of medical equipment he didn't recognize. A safe house. Somewhere in Brooklyn, Butcher had said before unconsciousness took him, a doctor who asked no questions, treated injuries that couldn't go to hospitals. His hands were wrapped in gauze. The Force pulsed weakly around them, encouraging healing, slower than it should be. This dimension's wrongness still fighting him. "You're awake." Annie sat in a chair beside the bed, looking exhausted. "Don't try to move. The burns were 3rd degree. You should be dead." "Jedi healing." Luke's voice came out rough. "Learned from Master Yoda. Takes time, though. You've been out for 18 hours. She held up a tablet. "The world's been busy." Luke focused on the screen. His own face stared back from a news broadcast, not Vought's edited version. Raw footage. Homelander threatening Rachel. Luke stepping between her and the heat vision, the beams hitting him while he held the shield. His collapse. The headline, "Real hero sacrifices himself to save civilian." "It's everywhere," Annie said. "Every network, every platform." Butcher uploaded it to 100 different sites simultaneously. Vought's been trying to take it down, but it's too widespread. 100 million views and climbing. Luke watched himself burn, watched Homelander's rage, his calculation, his retreat. People believe it? Some do. Some think it's deep-faked, but enough believe it that Vought's in full damage control. She scrolled to another headline. Homelander's approval rating drops to 68%. That's the lowest it's been in 5 years. Not low enough. No, but it's movement, real movement. Annie's voice carried fragile hope. People are asking questions. Why did Homelander attack a civilian? Why did he retreat when police arrived? Why is Vought so desperate to discredit you? Luke tried to sit up. Pain flared. He fell back, gasping. "I said don't move." Annie pressed him down gently. "Your body needs time to heal. Even Jedi bodies, apparently." "How long do I have?" The doctor said a week minimum. More like 2 for full recovery. "We don't have 2 weeks." Luke closed his eyes, reaching out through the Force. The city pulsed around him. Millions of lives, thousands of conflicts, and one dark presence growing more volatile by the hour. Homelander's planning something. I can feel it. He's cornered, desperate. That makes him more dangerous. Footsteps on the stairs. Butcher entered, tablet in hand, face grim. "You're right about that. Just intercepted Vaught's internal comms. They're planning a response. Something big. What kind of response? Annie asked. The kind where they stage a massive crisis, Homelander saves the day, and everyone forgets about his little misunderstanding at the warehouse. Butcher pulled up schematics. They're targeting the George Washington Bridge. Rush hour. Thousands of people. Structural failure caused by unnamed terrorists. The Seven swoop in, save everyone. Homelander gets his hero moment back. Luke struggled to sit up again. This time, he made it, though sweat poured down his face. When? Tomorrow, 5 p.m., peak traffic. Can we stop them? Alert the authorities? Alert who? Butcher laughed bitterly. The police Vaught owns? The feds with Newman pulling strings? Even if we could, they'd just move the crisis somewhere else. They need this. Their entire business model is falling apart without Homelander as America's perfect hero. Then we evacuate the bridge ourselves. Luke swung his legs over the bed. Pain screamed through every nerve. He ignored it. Get people off before they can. You can barely stand, Annie protested. And even if you could, Vaught will just paint you as the terrorist. Crazy vigilante shuts down major infrastructure, causes panic. They win either way. Luke stood. His legs shook but held. Then we don't evacuate. We expose them. Catch them in the act. How? They'll have Black Noir place the charges. No cameras, no witnesses, perfect deniability. Butcher shook his head. We're fucked, mate. They've thought of everything. No. Luke moved toward his lightsaber, lying on a nearby table. His burned hands couldn't grip it properly. They've thought of everything except one thing. What's that? Me being there when it happens. Me stopping the collapse. Me saving everyone before Homelander can. Luke met their eyes. If I'm there first, if I prevent the crisis instead of responding to it, the whole narrative falls apart. Annie stood. You just said you can barely stand. How are you going to hold up a bridge? The same way I held up Grand Central Station. The same way I took Homelander's heat vision. Luke's jaw set. By giving everything I have. That almost killed you last time. Then I'll have to be more careful this time. Butcher studied him. You know this is suicide. You show up, they'll have more than Noir waiting. Probably the whole 7. Homelander, definitely. You'll be outnumbered, outgunned, and half dead before the fight even starts. I know. And you're doing it anyway. I am. Silence filled the room. Outside, the city continued its eternal rhythm. Inside, 3 people who'd lost everything contemplated losing more. Finally, Huey appeared in the doorway. I've been monitoring the feeds. Something's happening. Vaught just called an emergency press conference. He turned his laptop screen. Ashley stood at a podium, face pale, voice shaking. This afternoon we received a credible terrorist threat against critical infrastructure in New York City. The individual known as Luke Skywalker has threatened to destroy the George Washington Bridge tomorrow at 5 p.m. unless Vaught meets his demands. Luke's blood ran cold. They're framing you, Annie whispered. Getting ahead of the story. Now if you show up to stop them, it looks like you're the one causing it. On screen, Ashley continued. The 7 will be monitoring the situation. We urge all citizens to avoid the bridge tomorrow. And we promise, Homelander will not let this terrorist succeed. The press conference ended. The trap was set. Perfect, inescapable. If Luke didn't go, people died and Vaught blamed him. If he went and stopped it, he looked like the terrorist standing down. If he went and failed, he died and Vaught won completely. Checkmate. Luke's burned hands found his lightsaber despite the pain. They're giving me no choice. Then don't go, Huey pleaded. For once, just don't be the hero. Luke looked at him, at Annie, at Butcher, at the footage still playing on the screens, ordinary people going about their lives, unaware they'd been marked for death by corporate calculation. I became a Jedi to protect people, he said quietly. That doesn't change just because the situation is impossible. Luke arrived at the George Washington Bridge at 4:30 p.m. His hands were still bandaged, still healing. Every movement sent pain radiating up his arms. The force flowed sluggishly, fighting through exhaustion and this dimension's persistent wrongness. He'd slept 4 hours in 2 days. His body screamed for rest. He ignored it. The bridge stretched across the Hudson, steel and concrete, carrying thousands of vehicles between New York and New Jersey. Rush hour was building. Cars packed bumper to bumper, people heading home, unaware they'd been chosen as props in Vaught's narrative. Luke stood on the Manhattan side, hood pulled up, watching, feeling. The Force showed him the charges, 12 of them, placed along key support structures. Black Noir's work, invisible to normal eyes, timed to detonate at 5 p.m. exactly. Butcher's voice crackled through the earpiece they'd given him. Got eyes on you. Also got eyes on 3 news helicopters, 2 Vought surveillance drones, and about 50 cops setting up a perimeter. They're not even hiding it. This is their show. Anyone evacuating? Luke asked Q. Whitley. Negative. Traffic's still flowing. They want maximum casualties if it goes wrong. Better footage. Butcher paused. You don't have to do this, mate. We can find another way. There is no other way. You said it yourself. Luke started walking toward the bridge. Where's Homelander? Vought Tower, waiting for his cue. He'll show up right after the charges blow. Play the hero saving whoever's left. Then I need to stop them before he arrives. Luke stepped onto the bridge. Cars crawled past, drivers staring at phones, listening to music, living their lives. An old woman in a Honda, a young couple arguing, a father with 3 kids in the back seat. All of them about to die unless he stopped it. The Force pulsed. Luke sensed the first charge, under the roadway, attached to a main support cable. He knelt, placed his bandaged hand against the pavement, reached through with the Force, found the device, started disarming it remotely, manipulating the circuitry through sheer will. It took 3 minutes. 3 minutes he didn't have. 11 charges left. 25 minutes until detonation. He moved to the next one. His hands shook. Blood seeped through the bandages. The doctor had been clear. Any strain would reopen the burns, risk permanent damage. Using the Force. This precisely required fine control, steady hands. Luke had neither. The second charge took 5 minutes. His vision swam, 8 left on the clock. Luke, Annie's voice in his ear. You're not going to make it at this pace. I know. He moved to the third charge. But I have to try. We're coming to help. No. Stay away. When Homelander shows up, we're not leaving you alone. Huey's voice, determined. Not again. Luke wanted to argue, wanted to protect them, but he needed help, desperately. A car pulled up beside him. Not Butcher's van, a civilian vehicle. The driver's window rolled down. Oh, middle-aged black man in a postal uniform. You're him, the Jedi guy. Luke tensed. Sir, you need to get off this bridge. It's not safe. I know. Saw the news. Vought saying you're gonna blow it up. The man smiled. But I was at Grand Central. Saw you hold up that ceiling with my own eyes. Figure if you're here, you're trying to stop something, not start it. Thank you, but please go. I can't protect you if... Don't need protecting. Need to help. The man got out, moved toward Luke. Name's Marcus. I'm an electrician. You need to disarm bombs. I can do that faster than whatever Force thing you're doing. Show me where. Luke stared at him. You could die. Yeah. Could also die sitting in traffic when this thing blows. Marcus knelt beside the third charge. Besides, my daughter watches your videos, keeps saying that's what real heroes look like, Dad. Be ashamed to prove her wrong. Another car stopped. Then another. People emerging. Young, old, different races, different lives. All with the same look in their eyes. Belief. A woman in scrubs approached. I'm a nurse. You're bleeding through those bandages. Let me help. I'm an engineer, said a man in a hard hat. Worked bridge construction for 20 years. I know where the weak points are. I'm nobody special, said a teenage girl with her phone out, live streaming. But I'm not leaving. Within 10 minutes, 40 people had stopped their cars, abandoned their commute, and joined Luke on the bridge. The Force showed him their determination, their fear, their choice to stand anyway. "This is insane," Butcher's voice crackled with something like awe. "You've got a whole civilian bomb squad forming, and it's going viral. The girl's stream has 2 million viewers." Marcus had the third charge disarmed. The engineer was guiding others to the remaining devices. The nurse was rewrapping Luke's hands with supplies from her car. People were working, coordinating, helping. Genuine heroism. Not manufactured, not corporate, just people choosing to act. Ott's helicopters circled overhead, cameras capturing everything. This wasn't their script, wasn't their narrative. Civilians weren't supposed to help the terrorist. But they were. Luke moved to the fourth charge with Marcus. "Why are you doing this?" "Because you showed us we could." Marcus worked quickly, confident. "Vaught's been telling us heroes have to be super-powered, company-approved, licensed, but you're just a guy with abilities who chose to help. Makes the rest of us think, maybe we can too." The charges fell one by one. 8 disarmed, 7, 6. Then the Force screamed its warning. Luke looked up to see Homelander descending from the sky, cape billowing, landing in the center of the bridge. The crowd of helpers froze. Well, Homelander's smile was sharp. "A domestic terrorist and his accomplices. Perfect." Behind him, the rest of the 7 landed. A-Train, the Deep, Black Noir, even Queen Maeve, though her expression was conflicted. "We're disarming bombs," Luke said steadily. "Bombs your people planted." "Bombs you planted," Homelander corrected, addressing the news cameras. "We have intelligence proving." "Bullshit," Marcus stood. "I'm holding the device right here, military grade. Vought serial numbers on the components. I'm an electrician. I know explosives. This is your work." Homelander's eyes flicked to Marcus, then to the live stream. 2 million viewers had become 5 million. All watching, all seeing civilians standing with Luke against the 7. "Sir, you're interfering with superhero operations. Step aside." "No," Marcus held his ground. "You step aside. We're saving this bridge." Other civilians stepped forward, standing between Luke and Homelander, a human wall of ordinary people who'd chosen extraordinary action. Homelander's composure cracked. "You don't understand what you're doing. Move. Now." "We understand perfectly," the nurse said. "You wanted this bridge to fall, wanted people to die so you could save some and look heroic, but we're not dying for your ratings." The live stream hit 10 million viewers. Homelander's eyes began to glow. Homelander's eyes blazed red, heat building. 10 million people watched through the live stream. News helicopters circled. The entire world was witnessing this moment. Luke stepped in front of the civilians. "You won't kill them." "Won't I?" But Homelander's eyes dimmed slightly, the calculation visible. "Kill civilians on camera, lose everything. Stand down, lose everything differently." "You won't," Luke repeated, "because you need them to worship you. That's all you've ever needed. Their fear dressed up as love. But the moment you kill innocence on live television, that ends. Forever." Homelander's jaw clenched. "They're in my way." "Then go around them." Luke gestured to the sky. "Fly away, claim victory, say you stopped me. Your PR team can spin it however you want." "After you've humiliated me? Made me look weak in front of—" Homelander caught himself, the mask slipping, the humanity beneath it. Broken, desperate, ding validation showing through. Behind them, Marcus and the engineer worked on the 5th charge. 4 left, 12 minutes. "You're not weak," Luke said, keeping Homelander's attention. "You're the most powerful being on this planet. That was never in question." "Then why do they—" Homelander gestured at the civilians. "Why do they stand with you instead of me?" "Because power isn't the same as heroism." "I save people." "You save people who fit Vaught's marketing strategy. These people," Luke indicated the crowd around him, They chose to save themselves and each other without permission, without profit motive. That's what heroism actually looks like. Homelander's hands clenched. You don't understand this world. You're from some fantasy galaxy where good triumphs and evil falls and everything's simple. This world is complicated, messy. People need symbols, need someone stronger than them to what? Control them? Make their choices for them? Luke shook his head. I've seen that. The Empire told people the same thing, that they needed a strong hand to guide them, protect them from themselves. It was a lie then. It's a lie now. The Empire fell, Homelander said quietly. You said so yourself. Yes. Because people chose freedom over safety, chose uncertainty over tyranny. Luke's voice softened. You could make that choice too. Stop serving Vought, stop performing for cameras, just help people. Genuinely help them. For a moment, something flickered in Homelander's eyes. Something almost human, almost hopeful. Then his earpiece crackled. Ashley's voice, loud enough for Luke to hear through the Force. Homelander, abort. I repeat, abort the bridge operation. We're initiating Protocol 0. Homelander's expression went blank. What? No. We didn't authorize. Stan Edgar authorized it. It's happening now. The color drained from Homelander's face. He looked at Luke, and for the first time, something like fear showed through. You need to run. All of you, right now. What's Protocol 0? Luke demanded. The contingency plan. The nuclear option. Homelander backed away, actually backed away. They're bringing in someone I can't stop. Someone none of us can stop. The Force erupted with warning. Luke spun toward Manhattan. A presence was approaching, massive, dark, controlled. Not evil like Homelander's hollow hunger. Something else. Something created for a single purpose. Destruction. Get the last charges disarmed, Luke shouted to Marcus. Now! Marcus and his team worked frantically. The 5th charge clicked off. 6th. 7th. The presence grew closer. Annie's voice crackled through the earpiece. Luke, we've got movement from Vought Tower. Something big. Something they've been keeping secret. On the live stream, someone screamed. The camera swung toward the city. A figure rose above the skyline, human-shaped, but massive, easily 20 feet tall. Its body was translucent, shifting between solid and energy. Eyes glowed white-hot. Butcher's voice, tense. Fuck me. That's Project Titan. Vaught's doomsday weapon. Pure compound phi given form. They've been developing it for years. Titan moved toward the bridge. Each step cracked pavement. Cars fled in panic. The creature's presence radiated power that made Homelander look weak by comparison. Last charge, Marcus yelled, his hands flown, you across the device. 30 seconds. Titan reached the bridge's Manhattan side, placed one massive hand on a support tower. The steel groaned, began to crumble. No! Luke threw out both hands. The Force surged, holding the tower together, fighting against Titan's strength. Pain exploded through his burned hands. Blood soaked through the fresh bandages. The civilians screamed, running for the New Jersey side. Marcus stayed, working. Almost got it! Titan's other hand reached for Luke. The Force barely deflected it, buying seconds. Homelander hovered above, watching. I told you to run. Help me, Luke gasped. Whatever this thing is, we can stop it together. We can't. That's the point. Vought created something even I can't control. Insurance against me ever going rogue. Homelander's voice carried bitter understanding. If I step out of line, they unleash Titan. Kill me. Kill everyone. Start over with a new hero. The support tower buckled. Luke held it. But Titan was stronger. Infinitely stronger. Marcus clicked the last wire. Done. All charges disarmed. Then run! Luke roared. Marcus ran. Titan's fist came down. Luke caught it with the Force, arms extended, every muscle screaming. He held a mountain of power, barely, impossibly. The bridge shook. Cables snapped. The roadway began separating. Luke poured everything into the Force, every lesson from Yoda, every ounce of strength, every principle he'd ever believed in. The bridge held. Barely. But Titan kept pushing. On the live stream, 20 million people watched a Jedi holding back a god, watched ordinary civilians evacuating, watched Homelander hovering, conflicted, useless. Watched Luke's hands begin to smoke as the Force burned through him. "I can't hold it," Luke whispered. Titan raised its other fist. Then a blast of golden light hit the creature from the side, Starlight pouring every amp she had into the attack. Titan stumbled. Another blast, Queen Maeve having apparently made a choice. She slammed into Titan's chest. Huey appeared, firing Frenchie's experimental weapon. The pulse hit Titan's head, disrupting its form momentarily. The civilians who disarmed the bombs turned back, some threw debris, others just stood, phones out, refusing to run, bearing witness. The Force showed Luke something he'd missed. Titan wasn't alive. It was a weapon, controlled remotely. Vought's ace, their ultimate threat. But weapons could be destroyed. Luke reached deeper into the Force than he ever had. Reached through the pain, the exhaustion, the dimensional wrongness. Found the energy that powered Titan. Found the Compound 5 connection, and severed it. Titan froze mid-swing. Its form flickered, destabilized. "Everybody down!" Luke shouted. Titan exploded. Not physically, energetically. A wave of pure Compound 5 energy rippling outward. Luke threw up a force shield, caught the blast, held it, compressed it, contained it. The effort tore something inside him. He felt it break. Some fundamental connection between body and Force, pushed past its absolute limit. But the explosion was contained. The bridge was saved. The people were safe. Luke collapsed. The last thing he heard was the live stream's counter hitting 50 million viewers. Half the world had just watched genuine heroism triumph over corporate power. Luke woke in darkness. Not the darkness of unconsciousness. The darkness of absence. The Force was gone. He reached for it instinctively, the way he'd done 1,000 times since childhood. Found nothing. An empty space where connection to all living things had once flowed. Like losing a sense. Like going deaf and blind simultaneously. Panic clawed at his chest. "Easy," Annie's voice close. "You're safe. You're alive." Luke's eyes adjusted. The same safe house, the same basement, medical equipment beepa, steadily. But everything felt wrong, hollow, disconnected. "The Force," he whispered. "I can't feel it." Annie's hand found his. "The doctor said you pushed yourself too far. That your body shut down some kind of internal pathway to survive. She doesn't know if it's permanent." Permanent. The word hit like a physical blow. Luke Skywalker without the Force wasn't a Jedi. Wasn't anything. Just a man with a lightsaber he could no longer use. "How long?" he asked. 3 days. You've been unconscious for 3 days." Annie squeezed his hand. "The world's been busy." She helped him sit up. His body ached, but moved. The burns on his hands had healed enough to function, but the emptiness inside, that remained. Annie turned on a tablet. News footage filled the screen. The bridge incident had changed everything. 50 million live viewers had become 200 million in replays. Every angle captured. Luke holding back Titan, civilians helping disarm bombs, Homelander frozen in indecision, Queen Maeve and Starlight choosing to help. Vought's narrative had shattered completely. Protests filled the streets outside Vought Tower, thousands of people holding signs. "Real heroes don't need licenses. We stand with Luke. Dismantle Vought." "It's not just New York," Annie said, scrolling through footage. LA, Chicago, Houston, Atlanta, cities across the country. People are demanding oversight of Vought. Real oversight, not the fake congressional committee they controlled. Luke watched, numb. And Vought? In freefall, Stock dropped 40%. 3 board members resigned. Stan Edgar went into hiding. Ashley had a complete breakdown on live television, started confessing to everything. Staged rescues, covered up murders, all of it. Homelander? Annie's expression darkened. Silent. He hasn't been seen since the bridge. Some people think he fled the country. Others think Vought locked him away. She paused. But I think he's planning something. Something final. Butcher appeared on the stairs, whiskey in hand. You're awake. Good. We've got problems. What else is new? Luke tried to stand. His legs shook. Without the force to enhance his strength, he felt weak, human in a way he'd never experienced. Vought's cornered, which makes them dangerous. Word is they're negotiating with the government for a bailout. Keep the 7 operational in exchange for full transparency, independent oversight, the works. That's good, isn't it? Annie asked. Would be if we trusted the government to actually follow through. More likely they make a show of reform while keeping the system intact. Butcher drained his glass. But here's the real problem. Homelander. Our sources say he's been in the Vought medical wing, getting enhanced. They're dosing him with experimental compound V variants, trying to make him even stronger. Why? Luke forced himself to stand, gripping the bed frame for support. He's already the most powerful. Because he's scared, Butcher interrupted. You showed him weakness, made him question his own narrative. And when gods get scared, they don't bow out gracefully. They burn everything down. Huey joined them, laptop in hand. It gets worse. There's chatter on encrypted channels. Vaught's evacuating their essential personnel from the tower, moving them to secure locations. That only happens when they're expecting catastrophic damage, Luke finished. He tried to reach out with the Force, sense Homelander's intentions, found only emptiness. He's going to destroy it. Vought Tower. Everything. Make himself the victim. And probably take half of Manhattan with him, Butcher agreed. Edda, the ultimate fuck you. If I can't have my kingdom, nobody can. Luke moved toward his lightsaber lying on the table, picked it up. The weight felt wrong in his hands without the Force to guide him. Just a weapon now, not an extension of his will. You can't fight him, Annie said gently. Not without the Force. Not in your condition. He'll kill you. Then I'll die trying to stop him. That's not heroism. That's suicide. What else can I do? Luke's voice cracked. I came to this world by accident, got people killed, inspired a movement I can't protect, and now the most dangerous man on the planet is about to commit mass murder, and I'm powerless to stop him. Silence filled the basement. Then Huey spoke. You're not powerless. You're just not superpowered. There's a difference. Luke turned to face him. Those people on the bridge, Huey continued. Marcus, the nurse, the engineer, the kid with the phone. They didn't have Force powers. They were just people who chose to help. You inspired that. Not your abilities. You. Huey's right, Annie added. You showed us that heroism isn't about powers or licenses or corporate backing. It's about choice. And that doesn't go away just because the Force did. Butcher snorted. Christ, we're having a feelings moment. Fine. I'll say it. You're a stubborn bastard who refuses to quit even when you should. That's worth something. Maybe enough. Luke looked at each of them, saw the belief in their eyes. The same belief he'd seen in the civilians on the bridge. Not worship, not fear, just people who'd chosen to stand with him. The Force was gone, his Jedi abilities severed. But maybe Huey was right. Maybe the power had never been the point. When? Luke asked. When is Homelander making his move? Intel says tonight, midnight. He's making a statement at Vought Tower, broadcasting it worldwide. Then, Butcher made an explosion gesture. Then we have 6 hours to stop him. Luke clipped the lightsaber to his belt. The motion felt familiar despite everything. Without the Force, without powers, just us against a god. Terrible odds, Annie observed. I've faced worse. When? Luke almost smiled. I'm still here, aren't I? Vought Tower loomed against the night sky, its windows blazing with light. Luke stood across the street, studying it without the Force to guide him. He'd have to rely on his eyes, his training, his team. It felt impossibly vulnerable. "Security's tripled," Huey reported, zooming in with enhanced binoculars. "Guards at every entrance, cameras covering all approaches, snipers on the roof. But most of their personnel evacuated," Butcher added. "Inside's probably a ghost town except for Homelander and whoever's stupid enough to stay with him." Luke tested his grip on the lightsaber. The weapon felt heavier without the Force flowing through him. No precognition to guide his strikes. No enhanced reflexes to dodge attacks. Just muscle memory and hope. "You sure about this?" Annie asked quietly. "We could wait. Bring in the actual authorities. Who would take hours to mobilize? By then, he'll have made his broadcast and brought the building down." Luke shook his head. "It has to be now. Then we need a way in that doesn't involve the front door." Butcher pulled up schematics on his tablet. Frenchie had maintenance access codes for the sub-basement. Water treatment facility connects to the main tower. Fewer guards, less surveillance. "You had codes to Vought Tower this whole time?" Huey asked. Frenchie was a professional. He planned for everything. Butcher's voice caught slightly, the grief still fresh. "Including this." They moved as a unit through back alleys, staying off main streets. Luke felt the absence of Force sense acutely. No warning of approaching threats, no reading intentions, no sensing Homelander's location above. Just walking blind into a trap. Marcus met them at the rendezvous point, the electrician from the bridge. He'd brought tools. "Heard you might need help cutting power at strategic moments." "You don't have to do this," Luke said. "You've already risked enough." "My daughter asked me tonight if I was going to help the Jedi save the city again." Marcus smiled. Couldn't exactly say no to that. 3 others appeared from the shadows. The nurse, the engineer, the teenage girl with her phone, all wearing dark clothes, all carrying equipment. "Word got out," the girl said, not apologizing. "You're trending again. At midnight at Vought. People know something's happening." "This isn't a publicity stunt," Butcher growled. "This is a suicide mission. Then we'll document it properly." She checked her phone's battery, live stream ready. Luke wanted to order them away, wanted to protect them from what was coming. But he had no Force powers to enforce the command, and more importantly, they'd chosen to be here. That mattered. "Thank you," he said instead. "All of you. But if things go wrong, they will," the engineer interrupted. "Things always go wrong. That's when you need friends most." They descended into the sub-basement through a service entrance. Butcher's codes worked. The tunnels beneath Vought Tower stretched like concrete veins, carrying water, electricity, data, the infrastructure of corporate power made literal. Luke led them forward, lightsaber in hand but not ignited. Without the Force, he had to rely on sound, sight, instinct. Every corner could hide threats. Every shadow could be black noir. "Movement," Annie whispered. 2 guards ahead. Luke couldn't sense them through the Force, couldn't mind trick them, couldn't predict their patrol pattern. He gestured to Butcher, who moved silently forward. 2 quiet shots from a silenced weapon. The guards dropped. Luke hated it. Hated the violence, the necessity, the lack of better options, but they moved past the bodies and continued upward. "You're doing fine," Annie said quietly, sensing his distress. "You don't need the Force for this. I've had it my entire life. Fighting without it is like fighting blind." "Then trust us to be your eyes." They reached the maintenance elevator. Marcus hotwired the controls, bypassing security. The elevator climbed. Basement, ground floor, 10, 20, 40 floors. Toward the executive level where Homelander waited. Luke's heart pounded. No Force meditation to calm it. No certainty about what they'd face. Just fear and determination, and the knowledge that people were counting on him. Human. Completely, vulnerably human. The elevator stopped at floor 79, one below the executive suite. Butcher checked his watch. 11:47 p.m. 13 minutes until his broadcast. They emerged into a corridor of glass and chrome. Emergency lighting cast everything in red. Abandoned desks, scattered papers, the detritus of evacuation. "Homelander's directly above us," Annie said. "I can hear him pacing, talking to himself." Luke closed his eyes, tried one more time to reach for the Force, found nothing. He was alone in a way Jedi were never meant to be, cut off from the living energy that connected all things. But he wasn't alone. Not really. He opened his eyes, looked at the people around him. Annie, who'd sacrificed her career. Huey, who'd lost so much. Butcher, carrying grief like armor. Marcus and the others, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. "Last chance to turn back," Luke offered. No one moved. Right then, Butcher checked his weapon. "Let's go tell God he's fired." They moved toward the stairs, toward the top floor, toward Homelander and whatever came next. Luke's hand found his lightsaber. Without the Force, it was just a weapon. But in the hands of someone fighting for the right reasons, surrounded by people who believed in something bigger than themselves, maybe that was enough. The stairwell door opened. Above them, Homelander's voice echoed, rehearsing his speech, his final statement, his apocalypse. They climbed toward the sound of madness. The executive floor was a shrine to corporate narcissism. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Marble floors reflected emergency lighting. And at the center, before a camera set up, Homelander stood in his suit, perfect, polished, wrong. He turned as they entered. His smile was gone. What remained was raw, exposed, broken. "You came." His voice carried genuine surprise. "Even without your powers, even knowing you'll die here, you actually came." Luke stepped forward, hands visible, lightsaber holstered. "I came to stop you." "Stop me?" Homelander laughed, brittle, unhinged. "Look at you. You can barely stand. No force, no abilities, just a man with a laser sword he can't even use properly anymore." He gestured to the others. "And you brought civilians. How wonderfully stupid." "They're not civilians. They're people who chose to stand against you. They're witnesses to your failure." Homelander moved toward the camera. "In 3 minutes, I'm broadcasting to the world, telling them the truth, that Vought betrayed me, created weapons to control me, treated me like a product instead of a person, and then..." He gestured to the building around them. "I'm bringing this whole tower down. Every lie, every crime, every secret, buried in rubble." "And the people in surrounding buildings?" Annie asked. "The families, the children?" "Collateral damage." Vaught's favorite phrase. Homelander's eyes blazed red for a moment. "They taught me that. Actions have consequences, and sometimes innocent people suffer. That's just how the world works." Luke took another step forward. "You're right, about all of it. Vought did betray you, did treat you like a product. But this?" He gestured to the explosives visible on the support columns. "This doesn't fix anything. It just makes you what they always feared you'd become." "And what's that?" "Exactly what they created. A weapon without purpose, power without meaning." Homelander moved faster than human eyes could track. He was in front of Luke instantly, hand around his throat, lifting him off the ground. Luke gasped, clawing at the grip. No force push to break free, no enhanced strength, just human weakness against godlike power. "You want to know what I am?" Homelander's breath was hot against Luke's face. "I'm the strongest being on this planet. I could kill everyone in this building with a thought, level this city in an hour, and there's nothing that could stop me." Luke's vision tunneled, oxygen running out, but he forced words through the crushing grip. "Then, why haven't you?" The question landed. Homelander's grip loosened slightly. "Why haven't you destroyed everything already?" Luke continued, gasping. "If you're so powerful, so unstoppable, why do you need a broadcast? Why do you need to explain yourself? Why do you care what anyone thinks?" "I don't..." You do. Luke met his eyes. Because despite everything Vought did to you, despite all the ways they broke you, there's still something human left inside. Something that needs to be seen, understood, loved. Homelander dropped Luke, stepped back. His hands shook. I tried being human, he whispered. Tried being the hero they wanted. Smiled for cameras. Saved who they told me to save. Killed who they told me to kill. And it was never enough. I was never enough. You were trying to be what they wanted instead of who you are. And who am I? Homelander's voice cracked. I don't even know. They made me in a lab, dosed me with chemicals, raised me in isolation. I have no parents, no childhood, no name except the brand they gave me. I'm not a person. I'm a product that gained consciousness and realized it was a slave. Luke stood slowly, rubbing his throat. Then choose to be something else. Not their slave, not their weapon, just yourself, whatever that means. Easy for you to say. You had a family, friends, a purpose beyond corporate profits. I lost my aunt and uncle, learned my father was the galaxy's greatest monster, fought in wars I didn't fully understand. I know loss. I know identity crisis. Luke's voice softened. But I also know that who we are isn't determined by where we came from. It's determined by what we choose to do. And what should I choose? To surrender? Face justice? Let them lock me away or study me or execute me? I don't know, but I know destroying this tower won't fix what's broken inside you. It'll just confirm everything they said, that you're dangerous, unstable, a threat to everyone. Homelander was quiet for a long moment. The timer on his explosives clicked steadily. 11:58 p.m., 2 minutes. You're asking me to be vulnerable, he said finally, to admit I need help, to trust a system that's only ever hurt me. No, I'm asking you to choose life over death, hope over nihilism, to believe that maybe, just maybe, there's a path forward that doesn't end in ashes. The teenage girl's live stream hit 30 million viewers. The world watched this impossible moment, a powerless Jedi trying to talk down a god. Homelander looked at the camera, at the timer, at Luke, at the choice before him. His eyes dimmed from red to blue. For just a moment, something almost like hope flickered there. Then the building shook. Not from Homelander's explosives, from something else. Something below. Butcher's face went white. No. No. They wouldn't. Vought's backup plan, Annie realized. If Homelander went rogue, they'd... The floor buckled. Somewhere beneath them, massive charges detonated. Not Homelander's doing. Vought's insurance policy. They were going to bring down the tower with Homelander inside, pin it on him, make him the villain, bury their secrets and their failed god together. Homelander's expression shifted from vulnerable to enraged. They're killing me. After everything, they're actually killing me. The building groaned, steel twisted, windows shattered. Luke grabbed Annie, Huey. We need to evacuate, everyone out. But the exits were collapsing, stairwells filling with debris, elevators dead. They were trapped on the 79th floor of a building designed to be Homelander's tomb. And 40 stories below, thousands of people in surrounding buildings watched the tower begin to fall. Homelander floated upward, trembling with rage. They want a monster? I'll show them a monster. I'll kill everyone. Everyone who did this. Everyone who knew. Everyone who... Or, Luke shouted over the destruction, you could save them instead. Homelander looked down at him. What? The people in this building, the people below. You're the only one who can get them out in time. Luke met his eyes. You wanted to be a real hero? Here's your chance. Not for cameras, not for ratings, just because it's right. The tower tilted. 30 seconds until catastrophic collapse. Homelander stared at Luke, at the choice crystallizing in that moment. Revenge or redemption, destruction or salvation, monster or hero. Homelander's eyes cleared. Blue, not red. Human, not godlike. "Everyone on me," he barked. "Now!" He grabbed Luke with one arm, Annie with the other. His voice carried absolute command. "The rest of you, group up. I can only carry so many at once." Huey, Butcher, Marcus, and the others clustered together. Homelander seized them with his free hand, straining under the combined weight. "Hold on to each other," he ordered. The floor gave way beneath them. Homelander shot upward as the building collapsed inward. 79 floors of steel and concrete and corporate ambition folding like a house of cards. The sound was apocalyptic. Metal screaming, glass shattering, the death cry of a monument to greed. They burst through the roof as it caved in. Homelander strained, carrying 9 people, veins standing out on his neck. For the first time in his life, he was actually testing his limits. "There!" Luke pointed. "The street! People are trapped!" Below, crowds had gathered to watch. Now debris rained down on them, a killing field of falling concrete. Hundreds would die in seconds. Homelander's jaw set. "I need my hands free." "What?" Annie shouted over the wind. "I need to catch the debris. You all need to land yourselves." He looked at Luke. "Can you do that? Without your force?" Luke looked down. 40 stories. Terminal velocity. Certain death for a human. "Do it," he said. Homelander released them. They fell. 9 people plummeting toward pavement. Luke's stomach lurched. No force to slow his descent. No power to save himself. Just gravity and physics and terror. But Annie could fly. She grabbed Huey, her light flaring, slowing their fall. The teenage girl activated some kind of suit, borrowed tech. Marcus and the engineer linked arms with the nurse, forming a human chain that Annie caught. Luke and Butcher fell alone. "Fuck!" Butcher screamed. Luke saw the ground rushing up, saw his death approaching. And in that moment of absolute clarity, he felt something, not the force. He'd lost that. Something else. Peace. He'd done what he came to do. Inspired people to choose heroism. Given Homelander a chance at redemption. Changed this world even briefly. If this was the end, Homelander caught them, both of them, impossibly fast, reversing direction mid-flight. The sudden deceleration nearly ripped Luke's shoulders from their sockets, but they survived. Above them, Homelander had used those 2 seconds to position himself. Now his eyes blazed red, heat vision cutting through massive chunks of debris before they could hit the crowd. Vaporizing concrete, melting steel, creating a protective umbrella over hundreds of civilians. He lowered Luke and Butcher to the ground, then returned to the sky. Working. Actually working. The tower continued its collapse. A controlled demolition turned chaotic. Debris spreading across 3 blocks. "The apartments!" someone screamed. "The residential building next door!" A wave of concrete and steel was about to crush a 30-story apartment complex. Families inside, children, hundreds of lives. Homelander couldn't reach it in time. But Queen Maeve could. She appeared from nowhere, slamming into the debris wave like a linebacker, her super strength deflecting the worst of it, taking the impact herself. Luke heard her bones break from the ground. A-Train followed, moving at super speed, evacuating people from the danger zone. Not posing, not checking cameras, just running, grabbing, saving. The deep was in the Hudson, creating water barriers to catch falling debris. Even Black Noir appeared, silently pulling people from rubble, efficient and focused. The 7, working as actual heroes, maybe for the first time ever. But it wasn't enough. The collapse was too massive. Debris still falling. One chunk, easily 5 tons, angled toward a group of school children on a field trip. frozen in terror. No hero close enough, no power available, no time. Luke ran. His burned hands found a piece of rebar jutting from broken concrete. He grabbed it, used it as leverage, pushed against rubble, creating a narrow channel. "Here! This way!" The teacher understood, started pushing children through the gap. 1, 2, 3. The debris was falling. Luke looked up, saw his death again. 5 tons of concrete. No force to stop it. No power to escape. He stayed in the gap, holding the rebar, keeping the channel open. If he moved, it collapsed. The children couldn't get through. 4 children out. 5. 6. The shadow of death fell across him. Annie screamed his name. The debris hit and stopped. Homelander had it. Both hands, straining, holding 5 tons above his head while Luke finished evacuating the children. "Move!" Homelander gritted out. "I can't hold!" The last child scrambled through. Luke dove clear. Homelander threw the debris away from the crowd, into the river. It hit with a massive splash. Silence fell. The towers collapsed complete. Dust settling across lower Manhattan. Emergency lights flashing. Sirens wailing. Luke lay on the pavement, gasping. Alive. Impossibly alive. Homelander landed beside him. His suit was torn. Blood ran from his nose. He'd actually pushed himself hard enough to bleed. He looked down at Luke. "We're not even," he said quietly. "You gave me a chance to choose. I chose. But that doesn't make us friends." "I know." Luke sat up slowly. "But it makes you more than you were." Homelander nodded once. Then he looked at the cameras. Dozens of them, media and civilians, all recording. The live stream had hit 100 million viewers worldwide. He could have posed, could have smiled, could have played the hero for maximum effect. Instead, he just stood there, blood on his face, exhausted, real. "Vought tried to kill me," he said to the cameras. His vial diamant mai gondits. Ois carried across the plaza. "They built this tower, filled it with their crimes. And when I questioned them, they tried to bury me with it." He paused. "But these people helped me choose something else. Something I've never really tried before." "What's that?" a reporter shouted. Homelander looked at Luke, at Annie, at the civilians who'd risked everything, at the city he'd just saved not for ratings, but because it was right. "Being human," he said simply. Then he flew away. Not toward Vought, not toward cameras, just away, to figure out what came next. The plaza erupted. Cheers, sobs, disbelief. People alive who should have been dead. A city saved by cooperation instead of corporate heroism. Luke closed his eyes. No force to guide him, no powers to protect him, just a man who'd made it through another impossible situation. Huey helped him stand. "You did it, without the force, without powers. You actually did it." "We did it," Luke corrected. "All of us." Around them, the movement they'd started became real. Not hero worship, not corporate branding, just people choosing to help people. It was enough. The sun rose over Manhattan, revealing the scope of destruction. Vought Tower reduced to twisted steel and concrete mountains. 3 blocks damaged, but 0 casualties. A miracle, the news called it. Luke called it cooperation. He sat in a makeshift medical tent, accepting treatment he barely needed. His body would heal. The burns, the exhaustion, the physical damage, all temporary. But the absence of the force remained, a hole in his soul that wouldn't close. "Vaught's done." Butcher dropped a tablet beside him, showing headlines. Vought International files for bankruptcy. Board of directors facing criminal charges. Stan Edgar arrested. The feds seized everything. Assets, records, research. Turns out when you try to murder your own flagship hero on live television, people lose confidence in your business model. "What about the 7? Annie asked, accepting coffee from a volunteer. Disbanded, officially. Maeve's in the hospital. Shattered pelvis, broken back, but she'll walk again. A-Train's actually talking to lawyers about testifying. The Deep went back to the ocean, probably for good. Black Noir. Butcher shrugged. Disappeared. He's good at that. And Homelander? Gone. Really gone this time. No sightings in 3 days. Some people think he flew into the sun. Others think he's hiding, planning his comeback. Butcher lit a cigarette, ignored the medical personnel's glares. Me? I think he's trying to figure out who he is without Vought telling him. Luke nodded slowly. The confrontation in the tower had broken something in Homelander, or maybe broken through to something underneath. Whether that led to redemption or destruction remained unknown. Huey joined them, phone in hand. You guys are everywhere. Every news outlet, every social media platform. #Real Heroes Act is trending #1 globally. People are demanding new laws, new oversight, new everything. Laws won't fix this, Luke said quietly. Not completely. The problem was never just Vought. It was the idea that heroism could be owned, controlled, sold. So what fixes it? People remembering they don't need permission to help each other. Luke gestured to the plaza where volunteers were distributing food, water, medical supplies. No corporate logos, no PR teams, just humans helping humans. This, every day, in small ways. A woman in a federal badge approached. Mr. Skywalker, I'm Agent Morrison, FBI. We need to talk about your status. Luke stood. Am I under arrest? Honestly, we don't know what to do with you. Morrison looked uncomfortable. You're technically an illegal alien, literally. No documentation, no citizenship, no legal right to be here. But you also saved thousands of lives and exposed the biggest corporate crime syndicate in history. My bosses are conflicted. What are my options? Deportation, except we can't deport you anywhere. Detention, except that would cause riots. Or, she hesitated, we could offer you asylum, protected status as a political refugee from another galaxy. It's unprecedented, but so is everything about you. And in exchange? You work with us, consult on superhuman threats, help build the new oversight framework. Basically, be what Homelander should have been, a hero who actually helps people instead of serving corporate interests. Luke considered. Stay in this world, permanently. Accept that home might be lost forever, the Force gone, his life as a Jedi finished. I need time, he said finally, to think, to heal, to understand what I've become without the Force. Morrison nodded. You have 72 hours. After that, we'll need an answer. She handed him a card. For what it's worth, I was at Grand Central when you held up that ceiling. My daughter was one of the people you saved. Whatever you decide, thank you. She left. Annie touched Luke's arm. What are you going to do? I don't know. Luke looked at his hands, scarred, healing, powerless. I came here by accident. The Force brought me through that dimensional rift for a reason. But now the Force is gone, and I don't know if I can find my way home without it. Have you tried? Huey asked. Like, really tried? Meditation or whatever Jedi do? Luke had tried. Every quiet moment, reaching out, searching for that familiar connection, found only silence. It's gone, Huey. That part of me is broken. Or maybe just different. Annie sat beside him. You held back Titan without the Force. Talked down Homelander without powers. Saved those kids with just your body and will. Maybe you're not broken. Maybe you're just becoming something new. A Jedi without the Force isn't a Jedi. No, but a hero without powers is still a hero. And this world needs those mas more than anything. Luke wanted to believe her, wanted to accept this new reality and move forward. But the loss ached like a missing limb. The Force had been with him since childhood, guide, tool, companion, connection to all living things. Without it, he felt incomplete. Butcher's phone buzzed. He checked it, face darkening. "We've got a problem." "Another one?" Annie sighed. "Victoria Newman. She's awake. And talking." Butcher turned his screen, giving interviews from her hospital bed, claiming she was undercover investigating Vought from the inside, painting herself as a hero who infiltrated their organization, and people are buying it. Luke's stomach sank. Of course they are. She's a victim of Vaught's violence, a congresswoman who risked everything. The perfect narrative. "She killed MM and Frenchie," Huey said, voice shaking. "Tried to kill all of us. And now she's going to get away with it? She's got federal protection, congressional immunity, and the only witnesses to what she did are us, a group of vigilantes with zero credibility." Butcher's jaw clenched. "The system protects its own, always has." Luke stood, every muscle protesting. "Then we expose her, like we exposed Vought." "With what evidence?" "She controlled the crime scene. Federal investigators found nothing linking her to MM and Frenchie's deaths. It's her word against ours." "Then we find evidence. We investigate. We're tired, Luke." Annie's voice carried weight. "We've been fighting for weeks. Lost people we love. Nearly died a dozen times. Maybe it's enough. Maybe we don't have to save everyone." The words hit hard, because she was right. They were exhausted, broken, running on fumes and stubbornness, and Newman was just one threat among thousands. But MM and Frenchie deserved justice. 72 hours, Luke said finally. "Agent Morrison gave me 72 hours to decide my future. Let's use that time to investigate Newman. If we find evidence, we use it. If we don't..." He trailed off, not wanting to finish the thought. "And if we do find evidence?" Huey asked. "What then? She's got the entire federal government protecting her." Luke picked up his lightsaber. The weapon felt heavy, unfamiliar without the Force. But it was still his, still a symbol of what he'd chosen to be. "Then we remind her that governments fall," he said quietly. "That truth has a way of surviving lies, and that heroes don't give up just because the odds are impossible." Butcher almost smiled. "There's the stubborn Jedi bastard I remember." Outside, the city continued, recovering, rebuilding, changed by what had happened, but not broken. Luke watched people helping each other, choosing connection over fear, cooperation over competition. Maybe Annie was right. Maybe he was becoming something new. The question was, did he have the courage to embrace it? They worked from a new location, a warehouse in Queens that Marcus had secured through his electricians' union. Safer than the old hideout, less connected to their past operations. Luke sat at a makeshift desk, studying files the old-fashioned way. No Force intuition to guide him to relevant details. Just reading. Hours of reading. "Newman's been playing this game for years," Huey said, connecting documents on a wall-mounted board, red string linking events. "Every person who got close to exposing Vought, 17 of them total, they all died or disappeared, and Newman was present or nearby for 14 of those deaths. Circumstantial," Butcher noted, "won't hold up in court. We need direct evidence, video, audio, witnesses who'll testify." "What about Newman's medical records?" Annie suggested. "If she has compound V in her system, that proves she lied about being a normal human investigating Vought. Federal medical records are sealed. We'd need a warrant, which requires probable cause, which we don't have because our only evidence is Luke's Force. C sense, which isn't admissible because A, the Force isn't recognized by law, and B, Luke doesn't have it anymore anyway." Huey slumped in his chair. "We're going in circles." Luke rubbed his eyes. Without the Force, investigation was harder. No reading subtle body language, no sensing deception through walls, just logic, evidence, pattern recognition. He was adapting, but slowly. A knock at the warehouse door made everyone tense. Butcher's hand moved to his weapon. "It's all right," Luke said. He couldn't sense intentions anymore, but something about the knock felt professional, expected. "Let them in." Marcus opened the door. A woman in her 50s entered, gray hair, sharp suit, federal ID badge, but her eyes carried something Luke recognized even without the force. Anger at injustice. "Agent Emily Chen," she introduced herself. "Counterintelligence Division. And before you point guns at me, I'm here to help." "Why would a Fed help us?" Butcher kept his weapon visible. "Because I've been investigating Newman for 3 years, and every time I get close, my evidence disappears. Witnesses recant. Files get sealed. My supervisors reassign me." Chen pulled out a tablet. "But I keep copies. Personal copies. Technically illegal, but I've watched too many good people die to care about protocol anymore." She set the tablet on the desk. Luke and the others gathered around. Victoria Newman isn't her real name. She was born Nadia Valenkov in the Red River Institute, a Vought black site where they experimented on orphans with compound V variants. 43 children went in. 3 survived. She was one of them. The screen showed photographs. A young girl, maybe 8, in a sterile facility, eyes haunted, already dangerous. Vought placed her in witness protection after the institute was exposed, gave her a new identity, paid for her education, positioned her in government, their inside agent from the beginning. "Then why did she help us investigate them?" Huey asked. "She didn't. She controlled the investigation, made sure it only exposed what Vought wanted exposed. Many-level corruption, expendable executives. The really damaging secrets? She buried them." Chen pulled up more files. "She's not bringing down Vought. She's inheriting it, positioning herself as the hero who cleaned house while secretly maintaining their infrastructure, their research, their power." Luke studied the documents. "Where's the direct proof? Video of her killing someone? Confession? Testimony?" "I have it." Chen's voice was grim. "Audio recording from the Red River Institute. Researchers documenting her abilities, including a session where she killed another child, deliberately on command to prove her loyalty to the program." She played the recording, a man's voice, clinical and detached. "Subject 12, designated Nadia, demonstrate your capability on Subject 19. A young girl's voice, Newman's voice, unmistakable even decades younger. "Do I have to?" "If you want to survive, yes." A pause, then a wet, sickening sound, another child's scream, cut short. The man's voice. "Excellent control. Subject 12 shows potential for deep cover operations. Recommend advancement to Phase 2 training." The recording ended. The warehouse was silent. "Jesus Christ," Huey whispered. "She was a child," Annie said. "They made her into a weapon. And now she's a monster with federal protection." Chen closed the file. "This recording is 40 years old, legally questionable, and Newman will argue coercion, child abuse, trauma. She'll be the victim again. But it proves she's been lying," Luke said, "about being normal, about being an outsider investigating Vought. It exposes the entire narrative, which is why I need you to help me release it publicly. If it goes through official channels, it'll be buried. But if it goes viral, like everything else you've done, Newman can't suppress it." Chen met Luke's eyes. "I'm asking you to break the law one more time. For justice." Butcher grinned. "I like her." "There's a complication," Chen continued. "Newman knows I've been investigating. She's planned for this. If this recording goes public, she has a contingency." "What kind of contingency?" Chen pulled up a new file. "Satellite imagery. A facility in upstate New York. The Red River Institute wasn't fully shut down. Vought kept one wing operational, Project Rebirth. 20 children, current ages 7 to 15, all dosed with experimental compound V. Newman controls access to that facility. If she goes down, her people have orders to eliminate the evidence." "The children," Annie realized, horrified. "She's using them as insurance. Expose her, and 20 kids die. Luke felt sick. The same trap, different packaging. Save some people, sacrifice others. No clean choices, no perfect solutions. Can we extract them? He asked. Get the children out before we release the recording? The facility has military-grade security, armed guards, lethal response protocols. You'd need a team of superheroes, Annie finished, which we don't have anymore. We have something better. Luke stood. We have people who've chosen to help. Marcus, can you get structural plans for the facility? Electricians Union has guys who work the construction. I can get blueprints. Huey, I need you to coordinate media releases, multiple platforms, multiple countries, simultaneous deployment. Make it impossible to suppress. On it. Annie, we'll need your abilities. You're the only one with real powers left. What about you? She asked. Without the Force, I adapt. Luke picked up his lightsaber. I've been relying on the Force my entire life. Maybe it's time I learned what I can do without it. Chen looked at him with something like respect. You're planning a raid on a federal facility to rescue children being used as hostages while simultaneously exposing a sitting congresswoman as a mass murderer. Yes. That's insane. Probably. Luke met her eyes. Will you help? Chen was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled, sharp, determined. I've been a federal agent for 30 years, followed every rule, trusted the system, and I've watched that system fail over and over. She extended her hand. Fuck it, let's be criminals for the right reasons. Luke shook her hand. Outside, night fell over New York. Somewhere in the city, Victoria Newman prepared her next move, and in a facility upstate, 20 children waited without knowing their lives hung in the balance. 72 hours had become 24. The clock was ticking. The Red River Institute sat isolated among pine forests, 2 hours north of New York. 3 buildings surrounded by electric fences, guard towers, and cameras. A prison disguised as a research facility. Luke crouched in the tree line, studying the compound through borrowed night vision binoculars. No force sense to detect guard positions. No precognition to warn of patrols. Just observation, patience, planning. Human methods, slower, less certain, but all he had. 12 guards visible, he reported quietly. Probably more inside. Security shifts change in 8 minutes. Beside him, Agent Chen checked her tablet. I've got their communication frequencies. Once we jam them, we'll have maybe 5 minutes before backup arrives from the nearest federal facility. 5 minutes to get 20 kids out. Marcus tested the wire cutters. That's tight. It's what we have. Annie's hands glowed faintly. Power ready. I can handle the perimeter guards. Get us to the main building. Non-lethal if possible, Luke reminded her. These are federal agents. Misguided, but not evil. Some of them know what they're guarding, Chen said darkly. They made a choice. So did we. Luke checked his lightsaber one more time. Without the Force, his strikes would be slower, less precise, but the blade could still cut through locks, disable equipment, create openings. Remember, we extract the children first, evidence second. Everything else is expendable. Huey's voice crackled through their earpieces from the van. Media packages are ready. The second those kids are safe, I release everything. Newman's recording, the facility location, all of it. Good. Luke took a breath. No force meditation to center himself, just human courage and determination. On my mark. 3, 2, 1, go. Annie moved first, blasting guard tower lights. Darkness fell across the compound. Marcus cut the fence, creating an opening. Chen jammed communications with a portable device. Luke ran. His body protested. Still healing, still exhausted, but he pushed through, reached the main building, ignited his lightsaber. The green blade cut through the security door's lock. Alarms blared immediately. So much for stealth, Butcher muttered, following with his weapon drawn. They pushed inside. White corridors, sterile lighting, the smell of antiseptic and fear. Luke's training took over. Clear corners, check doors, advance methodically. Without the Force, he had to be more careful, more deliberate. A guard appeared. Luke deflected his shot with the lightsaber, the blade catching the bullet and sending it into the wall. He force-pushed. No force. He charged forward instead, shoulder-checking the guard, disarming him physically. Slower, messier, but effective. "Holding wing is downstairs," Chen directed, reading the facility map. "Sub-level 2. They found stairs, descended. More guards. Annie's light blasts dropped 2. Butcher's shots took another. Luke deflected, blocked, advanced. A team working together instead of one Jedi doing everything. Different, but maybe better. The holding wing stretched long and clinical. Cells lined both sides, not prison cells but medical observation rooms. In each, a child, some sleeping, some crying, some just staring at nothing, broken by whatever had been done to them. Luke's stomach turned. "Get them out. All of them." Marcus began cutting electronic locks. Annie melted door mechanisms with controlled light bursts. The children emerged slowly, terrified, not understanding. "It's okay," Luke said gently, kneeling to their level. "We're here to help. We're taking you somewhere safe." A girl, maybe 10, with eyes that glowed faintly blue. "Are you heroes?" Luke almost said yes, then reconsidered. "We're people who decided to help. That's all heroism is." Gunfire erupted from the stairwell, reinforcements arriving. Butcher and Chen held the position, returning fire. "We need to move," Chen shouted. "Backup's 3 minutes out." Luke counted heads. 19 children. "We're missing 1. The files said 20. "Room at the end," a boy pointed. "They keep her separate. She's dangerous." Luke ran to the final door. This one was reinforced. Triple locks, heavy steel. He cut through with the lightsaber, the blade working slowly without force enhancement. Inside, a teenage girl sat on a bed. Dark hair, familiar eyes. She looked up. "You're the Jedi, the one who lost his powers. How did you—" "I can sense things, feel minds. It's what they gave me." She stood. "My name is Sarah, and you need to leave. Now, before she—" The building shook. An explosion somewhere above, not from their team. Huey's panicked voice through the earpiece. "Luke! Newman just went live with her own press conference. She's claiming you're raiding a federal children's facility. She's calling you a terrorist." Luke's blood ran cold. "Get everyone to the extraction point, now!" They moved fast. 20 children, 4 adults running through corridors as more explosions rocked the building. Newman was destroying evidence, burying the truth, literally. They emerged into chaos. News helicopters overhead, Newman had called them, cameras capturing Luke and his team fleeing with children from a federal facility. The optics were terrible. This is her contingency, Chen realized. She's not killing the kids. She's making us look like kidnappers. "Keep moving," Luke urged. The van was 50 yards away. They could make it. Then Sarah screamed. Luke turned. The girl's eyes had gone white. Her hands were at her temples. "She's in my head," Sarah gasped. "Newman, she's making me—" The other children started screaming. 19 kids, all with unstable compound Vi powers, all clutching their heads. Newman was triggering them remotely, using her own abilities to activate theirs. The facility behind them erupted. Not explosions. Powers, fire, ice, electricity, force. 19 children losing control simultaneously. A perfect disaster. Caught on camera. Blamed on Luke. "I can stop it," Sarah said, tears streaming down her face. "But I have to go back inside. Have to break her connection from the source." "That building's collapsing," Annie protested. "You'll die." "Better me than all of them." Sarah looked at Luke. "You understand, right? Sometimes heroes have to sacrifice." Luke saw himself in her. Saw the choice he'd made a dozen times. Saw what this world did to people with power. Turned them into weapons, martyrs, casualties. "No," he said firmly. "There's another way. There's always another way." But his mind was blank. No force to show him the path. No power to fix this. Just a man with a lightsaber watching everything fall apart. Luke's mind raced. No force. No powers. Just a man watching children suffer while cameras broadcast their pain to the world. Then he understood. The cameras, he said. Newman's using them. Using the footage to control the narrative. So we use them too. He turned to Sarah. Can you project what she's doing to you? Show everyone her presence in your mind? Maybe. If I open myself up instead of fighting her. Huey! Luke shouted into his comm. I need you to hack the news feeds. Override them. Put Sarah's perspective on every screen. That's impossible. Frenchie taught you. I know he did. Do it. A pause, then. He did teach me. Okay. I've got partial access. Give me 30 seconds. Luke knelt before Sarah. When Huey says go, I need you to show the world what Newman's doing. Let them see inside your mind. Can you do that? It'll hurt. I know, but it'll be worth it. Sarah nodded, tears still falling. Around them, 19 children writhed in agony, their powers destroying the facility, creating the perfect disaster Newman had orchestrated. Now! Huey shouted. Sarah's eyes blazed white. And suddenly, on every screen, every helicopter feed, every news broadcast, every phone streaming the event, the perspective shifted. Viewers saw inside Sarah's mind, saw Newman's consciousness like a parasite, forcing commands, triggering the other children remotely, saw the calculated cruelty, the deliberate pain, the weapon using children as ammunition against Luke. And they saw Luke, powerless, desperate, trying to save them anyway. The feeds shifted back, but the damage was done. The truth was visible. Newman felt it too. Her control wavered. The children's screaming subsided. Get them to the van, Luke ordered. All of them. Now. They moved fast. Annie flying with children, Marcus and Chen carrying others, Butcher providing cover fire as federal vehicles arrived. Luke stayed at the rear, lightsaber ready, protecting their retreat. Without the Force, he couldn't sense threats before they appeared, but he could stand his ground. That was enough. They reached the van. Huey had it running. Newman's press conference collapsed. She tried to spin it, but the footage, Sarah's footage, it's everywhere. The truth's out. Then we go. Luke climbed in last. The van peeled, away as the facility collapsed completely behind them. They drove in silence. 20 traumatized children, 4 exhausted adults, and 1 Jedi who'd lost his power, but found something else. Purpose. 3 days later, Luke stood on a rooftop in Brooklyn. The same rooftop where he'd watched the city that first night, lost and alone. Agent Morrison had kept her word. Asylum granted. Legal protection. A place in this world, if he wanted it. Victoria Newman had resigned in disgrace, facing criminal charges. The children from Red River were in protective custody, real custody, with counselors and care. Vaught's remaining assets were being redistributed. The system was changing. Slowly, imperfectly, but changing. Annie joined him carrying 2 coffees. Figured you'd be up here. Thinking, Luke admitted. About? Whether I want to stay, whether I can. The Force hasn't come back? Luke reached out, searching. Still nothing. No, maybe it never will. This dimension, something about it rejects that connection. Or I broke something permanent trying to stop Titan. So you'd stay here powerless? Just a guy with a laser sword? Just a guy who tries to help? Luke sipped the coffee. It was terrible. He'd grown to appreciate terrible things about this world. Is that enough? It was enough at Red River, at the bridge, at Grand Central. Annie smiled. You keep asking if you're enough without powers. But Luke, You've been enough this whole time. The Force was just a tool. You were always the hero. Below them, the city moved. People going to work, school, lives. Some wore shirts with his image, #RealHero still trending. Others carried on, unchanged. The world kept turning. "Homelander's been spotted," Annie said quietly. "In Iowa, small town. He saved a kid from a well, no cameras, no press, just did it. Maybe he'll find his way. Maybe we all will."
Huey and Butcher appeared from the stairwell. Behind them, Marcus, the teenage girl with her live stream, the nurse from the bridge, and Sarah, the girl from Red River. "What's this?" Luke asked. "A team," Huey said simply. "If you're staying, we're building something. Not corporate heroes, not government agents, just people who help people." "We've got funding," Marcus added. "Anonymous donor, my union brothers, people who believe in what you started." "And I can document everything," the teenager said, phone ready. "Keep them honest, keep the truth visible." Sarah stepped forward. "You gave me a choice when I thought I had to die. I want to help give others that choice." Luke looked at each of them. No force to guide his decision, no cosmic energy showing him the path. Just his heart, his choice, his humanity. "All right," he said finally. "Let's do it. Let's show this world what heroism really looks like." They stood together on that rooftop. A Jedi without the Force, a former corporate hero, a grieving friend, a cynical soldier, and civilians who'd chosen extraordinary action. Not perfect, not powerful, but present, committed, real. Below, someone pointed up at them, then another. Phones came out, not to worship, not to fear, just to acknowledge. There are the ones who help. Luke ignited his lightsaber. The green blade hummed in the night, a beacon visible for blocks. Not as bright as it once was without the Force channeling through it, but bright enough. The Force had brought him here, showed him a world that needed hope. Now, powerless but not broken, Luke Skywalker would give them exactly that. One choice at a time,